as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar, it's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all, decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, July 24th, 2026. Welcome into your home for political play-by-play. The Owen Report with you for the next 3 hours. You know, we are loaded today. I got a couple guests coming up. We're going to get Mark Mitchell on to talk polling. We're going to go to South Carolina and bring Mark Lynch on. You know, he ran against Lindsey Graham. And now they're trying to strong-arm him, even though he finished second in the primary to Lindsey Graham. The Republicans are trying to strong-arm him out and then overwhelm the field. So we'll get an update there. That'll probably take up most of the second hour. And, you know, there's two things that are happening. It's not really a news story as far as the headlines are concerned. I'm not seeing the talk about it. There's some places where they talk a lot about the housing market, but as far as the national media is concerned, the housing market is not getting near enough attention. And if they raise interest rates like the expectation is, I don't think people really understand what's about to go down in the housing market. I think this thing is about to become a major, major issue. Now, it's easy to get distracted when you're in the news business. It's easy to get distracted when there's wars going on. It's easy to get distracted with the Trump administration. And you start to realize the whole thing from Trump now, it's just as long as the cameras are rolling and as long as the cameras are on him, then everything feels good. It seems to be that's what this administration has kind of boiled down to. It's, hey, just keep the cameras rolling, keep the microphones hot, keep them all on Trump, and that's really all that matters. Doesn't really matter what he says, doesn't really matter what he does. As long as the cameras are on him and he's doing the show and he's hosting the show, then that's all that matters. It's the press release presidency. Just keep the cameras rolling. Keep the microphones hot. Nothing else matters. It's starting to become the common realization that that's all this really is. Just keep the cameras rolling, keep them on Trump. And as far as results and policy and the rest of it, that really doesn't even matter. And there's all these new, who knows what's really going on behind the scenes with the Trump administration in this war, because clearly somebody inside the administration wants you to believe that Trump is losing patience. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, maybe that's what he wants you to think. But you're seeing all these stories today about Trump losing patience on the war. Really? Well, he's about a year behind the rest of us then, maybe 30 years behind the rest of us. He used to be with us. It's another one. It's like people just really don't understand what an absolute disaster this war has been. And it gets to this point with the American right wing, and it's very sad. And this is why so many Americans just cannot relate. They just cannot relate to American right-wing politics. And then they see moments like this, and they'll just never consider it. We've reached this point of the war now where it's such a disaster. You're going to see people on the right wing, Republicans. You're already seeing it. It's just getting louder. It's just, we need to just bomb them to hell. Just blow them all up. Just wipe them off the earth. My God. My God, you are just sick, demented people. And it's just like a board game for them. It's like a board game. It's like a video game. None of them serve. The biggest proponents of this war in the media, not a single one of them has served. None of them. None of them. More specifically, the ones in network media. None of them have served. Seems to me that most of the people in the media, the independent media, that have served are against this war. Most, not all, most. But I got these statements from Trump. I'm going to read them to start the show. We got some Trump audio to start the show, some Trump audio from last night, some Trump audio from the Oval Office, and then some Trump audio from 5 years ago. Yeah, you get an idea where that's going. But you're reading these statements. Guys, I'm telling you, you're just, nobody out there is really giving you the truth about this war. Not in the network news. You can find independent media that's still going to tell the truth about this war, but it's even hard to tell the truth about this war because most of the information we get from the administration, from the network news, is propaganda. It's totally fake. So it's hard to even get the story right. So what you have to do is you have to look at the different cues. Look at the different clues and cues and just say, okay, what's really going on? When you have the Pentagon begging for more money at a hearing this week, and now you have Trump lambasting Europe and lambasting China, and he's talking about tariffs again, are you starting to get this? Is it starting to add up for you guys? This war, Trump broke us. This war has broke this country. And Trump is so out of touch at this point. I don't know if I want to go down the angle of, 25th Amendment or dementia or anything like that. I don't think that's the case. I think Trump, the human, I think Trump, the man, is still with it enough. I don't think there's any issues there. He is old. Things happen in age. But I don't think that's any issue. I don't think that's stopping him from being effective. I think it's his complete detachment from reality that is hindering him from making good decisions. So the negative repercussions of this administration, he doesn't care about. All he sees is the positives, and then he has fomented an environment around him that is nothing but positives. But the reality eventually comes out. Why is the president begging Europe and China for money? Because he's broke the country, guys. It's broke. We're done. We don't have any money. The Pentagon is begging for money. Trump is begging for money. The country is broke, and now we're smack dab in the middle of another war, and the only solution they can offer is just bomb them all to hell. That's sick. That's demented. You're evil. You're a son of a bitch. You're a bastard for that. This is what we were sick of. This is what Trump said he wouldn't do. And now that's the conclusion they've reached. It's like, oh, well, just blow them all up. It's like, yeah, okay, we failed. Just blow them all up. And then what is the side effect of all of this? While Trump is in office, it's going to be hard to get a read on it because everybody pretends to get along with Trump. Everybody pretends, and they want to be in the photo ops, and they want to be in the media. They want to be a part of the big, the big three-ring circus. So they're friendly enough. But at the end of the day, guys, I don't think these countries are really liking to deal with Donald Trump. I don't think they like dealing with Trump. I think they're sick of Donald Trump. I think that Trump has now set our country back decades when it comes to foreign relations and foreign policy. And ultimately, I think, unfortunately, the result of all of this is going to be the Democrats getting power and going full-blown socialist. And people will be fine with it. They won't even care. Why would they? They're broke. And all the Republican Party right now has to offer you is data centers and war, which most people don't like. But hey, as long as Trump is up there dancing, as long as Trump is up there with the cameras on and the microphones on and other, then everything's good, guys. It's like that's the MK Ultra that this brainwashed cult is currently under. It's like Trump is like their chew toy, or Trump is like, he's like their stress ball. You got all these little like knickknacks, things that people like tinker with, things like fidget spinners and stuff. It's like, oh, this is how I de-stress. It's like, oh, this is how I distract from the world. It's like, that's what Trump is for them. It's like they know the country isn't getting any better. They know the direction of the country isn't getting any better. They know it's all hype. But as long as Trump is on TV, it's like, oh, it's a relief for them. It's like a drug for them. It's like, oh, Trump's talking. Oh, Trump's on TV. Oh, Trump's on Fox News. Oh, it's okay. There's Trump. Yes, there's Trump. It's very strange. And I've got some examples of that today that I'll be showing you. And then we'll get into the news. I've gone a little long here with the intro. But I'm telling you guys, I just feel like this thing is so much worse than we even realize. And I get a lot of trouble for being a black pillar and a doomer and all of this stuff. That's fine, whatever. I'm a realist. I just tell the truth no matter where it is and where it goes. As bad as things seem right now, as far as the direction and the results or lack thereof of this administration, I think behind the scenes, it's 10 times worse, guys. I think this thing is already so far off the tracks. It's like we know it's off the tracks, but it's like this thing might be totally cascaded off the mountain. Or Q is real. That's pretty much all you got at this point. Either Q is real or this thing is so far off the tracks, there's no getting it back. There's no saving it. So we got all that and more great guests coming up on today's Owen Report. Brought to you by our friends at Allegiance Gold. Yeah, I'm sure when you hear the bad news, you think about your finances, you think about your savings, you wonder, do I really want to keep it in the bank? What do I want to do? Do I want to get into precious metals? If that's a question you're asking, you need to talk to my friends at Allegiance Gold. Give them a call. The call is free. 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. And while you have them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver. With qualified investments, you heard that right, $5,000 in free gold and silver. Whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings, they make it simple to move into something real before the next reset, which we're all concerned could be right around the corner. Now, what's the big thing? You think about your finances, you think about your money, you think about your wealth. You got to have trust. You got to have understanding. That's what Allegiance Gold is built around. An A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. They want to make sure you're fully confident and understanding the decisions you're making with your wealth before you make them. So give them the call, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing on a Friday? I don't like this. I don't like the way I'm coming into today's Friday transmission, I have to tell you. I don't like the feeling I'm getting from the White House. I don't like the feeling I'm getting from Trump. I don't like the feeling I'm getting from the Trump cult. I don't like the direction this war is headed, the foreign policy is headed. I don't like the fact that our country is broke and Trump and the Pentagon are begging anybody they can for money like beggars. While the Trumps have billions of dollars, they're richer than they've ever been, and they're just pouring it on. I don't feel good about all of this on a Friday, guys. I got to tell you. You know we like to keep it a little lighter on a Friday. But I really just don't like it. It's not even that I'm sensing something big. I don't know. I'm not trying to insinuate that there's some big event coming. It's just I guess with every passing day, it just gets more and more cemented that this is our reality. Trump has totally betrayed us, but it's not even, even that is not even a fair statement to make. It's not even about Trump. Trump will be out of the office in a couple of years. Our country is in so dire straits right now. And here we are again addressing a foreign policy that is a complete disaster. And that's what I'm saying. When I look at things that are going on, like I look at the housing market, folks, this thing is about to collapse. I don't know how we can avoid a housing market collapse, honestly. The housing market is completely insane right now. And if they spike interest rates like the anticipation, guys, I'm telling you, this thing is so cooked. The numbers are just cooked on this housing market situation. You're going to flip. People are going to be in the negative equity. Nobody's going to be able to sell their house. The development companies are still building these new houses. New houses are cheaper than used houses because everybody's upside down. Why are new houses cheaper than currently owned houses? Because everybody's upside down right now on their equity. So nobody can sell their house. Nobody can afford to move. Nobody wants to sign a mortgage rate at 7% interest. This thing is cooked. And why do you talk about the housing market? Well, isn't that part of the American dream, to own a house? Isn't that part of the American experience, to own your own home, to own your own land? To be the king of your own castle? It's gone. It doesn't even exist anymore. Even if you do get to own a house, even if you can pay it off, you're still paying the government property taxes. It's outrageous. I don't want to rant too much today. I got guests coming up in the second hour. I'm just like, you know what it is, though? Like I said in the intro, I got some examples of this today. But there's this weird thing that's happening with the Trump cult where it's like, it really is like a drug. It's like people use drugs to deal with depression. They talk about self-medication. People use drugs to try to mask and deal with other things they're going through in life. You got relationship problems, marriage problems, whatever, you're drinking. You're at the bar. You're hitting the bottle. You're dealing with some sort of depression, whatever it is. You're smoking weed. You're, whatever other drugs, pills, whatever it is. That's like Trump for these people. Trump is like their drug. And maybe even they know it's bad for them. It's like most people know you're doing drugs. It's not good for you. They do it anyway. They make the choice. It's like they know it's not good for them, but they need it. They need it, and they need to tell themselves that it's okay. They need to tell themselves that it's good. And there's this, like, they're stuck in this trap. They're stuck in the left-right paradigm that they can't get out of it. And they just think, hey, all I have to do is support Trump. That's it. It's like if Trump is on TV, I have to support it. I have to tell my friends on Facebook. I have to tell my friends on social media. I've got to post it on X. It's like, look, there's Trump. Liberals are pissed. All right. Like, yeah, I did it. Job done. This is what it's become. And I'm just sitting here and I'm looking at this. It's not even worth engaging anymore. We might get there. At some point, it might be time to engage. In fact, I have to tell you, I'm almost dreading it, but I feel like inevitably it's going to have to be me. Unfortunately. I feel like inevitably it's going to have to be me that goes out there and owns the Trump tards, which is going to be the craziest 10-year political cycle of one man's career, maybe ever. if we get there. I'm kind of dreading it, but I feel like it's going to have to be me because I see this. Oh, Trump was so great. Did you see him? Oh, Trump did this. Trump said that. Okay. All right. What do you think you're getting out of this? What do you think America is getting out of this? What is it that is going to be Trump's legacy? What is Trump going to leave us when he leaves office that is going to be lasting change? What is it that Trump is going to leave us that's going to be a permanent change for the better in this country? What are we getting out of it? And there's no answer, guys. There is no answer. And it's getting to this point now where they're going to have to be pinned down. They're going to have to be pinned down, and they're going to have to be sat down on camera and embarrassed about it because it's getting out of damn control. And I'm not going to sit here and watch a bunch of Americans get trapped again. I'm not going to sit here and watch good people. These are good people. These aren't bad people. These are good people that are being fooled. And I can't just sit here and let this happen. I can't do it. So I just got a feeling, guys, that this whole thing is about to take a twist. This whole thing is about to take a twist. And eventually it's going to be so indefensible. Eventually it's going to be so undeniable what a disaster this administration is. And you know what? I'll conclude it with this. I'll get to the news. I'll conclude it with this. I'm just ranting here. You know, we give a lot of trouble, and I see all the Israel defenders today, you know, defending Netanyahu and defending the NDAA. You know, you see them all over the media defending it, telling you how great it is. You know what? Whatever. Forget about the Israel issue for a second. Forget about the Israeli occupation and, you know, all the influence and all of that stuff. Obviously, it's real. But, you know, it gets to this point where I can't even be mad at Israel. It's like, I can't even be mad at Israel. What is Israel doing? Israel, as far as its leaders are concerned, are working in Israel's best interest. They're doing everything they can for Israel. And they look at America, they look at American politicians as either weak and blackmailable or political whores, and they move in and they take that territory. They look at the American media, the sellout media. They look at all the sellouts in the independent media, and they go buy them like cheap whores. So at what point do I quit blaming Israel for acting in Israel's interest, and I start looking at the Americans that are selling us out? Now, the ugly issue with that, the ugly issue when you go down that road, when eventually we take that turn, is, well, what do you do with these people now? What do you do with all the people that arguably have committed treason against this country? Do we have to have a reminder of what that means? Do we need to have a reminder? Do we have to see that? Do we have to go through that? Because that's what's even worse. Part of you can't even be mad at Israel. It's like, yeah, you know what? They're doing what they think is best for their people. They're doing what they think is best for their country. And they look at the United States media. They look at U.S. politicians and they say, look at all these political whores, or look at all of these scumbags that we can blackmail. And they do it. And so they buy all the cheap whores in politics and they blackmail all the, you know, nasty freaks in politics. It's like, all right. At a certain point, you know, I can only be blaming Israel for so much. At a certain point, we have to turn inward and look at all these people that have sold us out. Look at all these traitors that sold us out to foreign interests and foreign countries and say, yeah, you know what? It's time to deal with you, actually. Israel can run along and do whatever the hell it wants. And all the Israeli loyalists and agents and everybody here that feels more inclined to love Israel than America, they can make their own decisions. They want to live here, they want to live there, whatever. At some point, we're going to have to turn this inward and say, what do we do with these traitors? What do we do with these sellouts? And you know what? I'll go ahead and warn them right now. I'll go ahead and warn you guys how this is going to go right now. Trump is not going to have your back. You all think you're getting away with this because Trump is getting away with this, or you think Trump is getting away with this. You all think you're getting away with this because there's enough of you in the room that you can kind of raise your voices and get a little loud and puff up a little bit and think that that's a defense mechanism. and that's going to save you at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you right now, eventually, this is all going to come down on you. I don't know what that means. Okay, I don't know if that looks like a January 6th thing where, the next political party gets in charge and comes after you with the law. I don't know if it'll be public perception. I don't know. But if you think you're going to have a hedge of protection from Donald Trump, if you think Trump is going to protect you for whatever comes next, let this be the 10 millionth warning that he's not. Okay? He's not going to save you. So all of you out there in the media who are clearly selling out to foreign interests, we will remember that. And Trump will not defend you for whatever comes because of that. He will not be there. Okay? And you're not getting away with this. You think you're smooth. You think you're sly. You're pretending like it's an America first thing. It's in America's interest. You've got all your propaganda talking points. You've got all your political wrestling moves and gymnastics tricks. You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. And you know what? Many of you probably are not even bad people. You're just taking advantage of a corrupt system. You're just living in a corrupt system and you just assume you can get away with it. And hey, you know what? You're like everybody else. You got bills to pay. You're like everybody else. You're broke. You're in debt. So you got to get paid. And if that means going to a foreign country and taking care of the bills, so be it. But everybody sees it. You're embarrassing yourselves. And eventually this thing is going to take a turn and you're going to be on the wrong side. And Trump is not going to defend you. He's not. And I guess maybe I should say this too. Neither will Israel or Netanyahu. There. I mean, you might be, if you're a citizen, then you can fly over there. You'll be fine. If not, good luck. Good luck. And you know what? Maybe this is why so many of them are actually starting to panic about when Democrats get into office. Maybe that's why so many of these individuals are starting to really, show, the midterms aren't looking good. This whole thing that we were going to win the midterms, this whole panicking thing, starting to get a little real, isn't it? Starting to get a little real, the realization that you're actually on an island starting to sit in. The tide is starting to rise. So I think maybe even subconsciously they realize this. And that's why you're starting to see this panic about the midterms. It's like, oh, okay, well, hey, you need to vote for us now. Vote for us. We told you we didn't need you and we lied to you and then, called you names and everything. But please vote for us now. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And unlike the original Trump supporters, and this is going to be what really separates the current Trump coalition from the prior Trump coalition, you guys aren't actually willing to sacrifice for anything. The only thing you guys are willing to sacrifice is something that benefits you. So the idea that you might be facing down a corrupt government for supporting Trump scares you to death. The idea that they might throw you in jail scares you to death. And I know it because I keep seeing you guys project that onto me. It's like, and you better vote for Republicans. The Democrats will put you back in jail. Hey, who do you think I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know I've been on camera multiple times and they've said, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to put you in jail. And I said, go ahead, take me to jail. We're not cowards like you. We're not frauds like you. We're not grifters like you. This whole reality, this is about to get real to you guys. This isn't a game. I know you guys thought you could just grift off this political movement and grift off Trump and it would all be hunky-dory and you'd be rich and famous in the end and you'd get your pictures at Mar-a-Lago, you'd get your pictures in the White House. Who knows? Maybe you're even cool enough to go into the IDF and put on some military gear. as you do a mop-up crew media job, propaganda job. You're that cool, man. All right. This isn't a game. This is about to get real to you. And you know what you're going to find out the hard way? The Democrats are serious. The Democrats are serious about the things that they say they're going to do to you. Trump is not serious about anything. And as soon as he's out of office and his family walks off with $5 billion after this administration, they won't even look back to give you a glance. So, yeah, I'm very aware of what the Democrats will do when they get into power. I've already been there, and I'm warning you. So you can heed my warning, or we're all about to watch your knees buckle like wet noodles because of the cowards and frauds that you really are. Okay. I don't know. I don't know where that came from, guys. It was somewhere deep in my loins. All right. Got it off my chest, though. Okay. I don't know if we can call that a crash out. So what was I saying, guys? I was telling you that they were cooking the books as far as the dead at the military. Remember that?
And that's another home run from the great Babe Ruth.
Pentagon website anomalies that removed names of 4 killed in Iran war remain. I told you they were hiding the numbers, guys. I told you they were lying about the numbers. And it was like I had to pinch myself. If you guys remember, when did we do that? I think that was either Wednesday or maybe it was yesterday when I did the numbers segment. And I said, I made the joke about how I can't count, when we're doing men's pickup ball. Like I can't, like, oh, do I have 16 points or 17 points? Like nobody knows how to add 1 and 2 when you're playing ball. It's like the same thing with these dead numbers. It's like, wait, is it 15? Is it 17? It's like, I can't, wait, what? And I was crunching the numbers and I was like, well, the numbers, I think it's actually 21. It was 17 and then 4 died. And then they said it was 18. They're literally, so here's now, I think your concern has to be, if they're willing to do that, it's like, these are the names that we have. These are the faces that we have. By the way, guys, this thing is so tragic. The young girl who died, the 19-year-old from Texas, she went and joined the military to pay for college. She just wanted to get a college degree. Another one was about to get married. He was waiting to finish, and he was going to get married. Another one just had twins, had twin babies. I mean, it's sad. And I wonder if Washington, D.C., the Trump administration, the Pentagon, eventually they're going to have to stop using this word sacrificed, because you guys are really hurting the cause here, because everybody, they were sacrificed for Israel. They were sacrificed for the foreign lobby. They were sacrificed for the donor class. It's like, you might want to change. Again, I give this is $1 million, millions of dollars of PR that I give out for free on this show. And that's why they all listen, by the way. Eventually they're going to have to stop using this word sacrifice. Their sacrifice. They were sacrificed for the donors. They were sacrificed for the foreign lobby. So you're going to need to stop using that word sacrifice. It's not really helping. So if they're willing to lie about the numbers, when you can literally just sit there and count them out one by one from 17 to 21, if they're willing to lie about that, guys, come on. Do you really think the number is 20 or 21 or whatever it is they're giving us? I'm sorry. I see that. I see them actively keeping the numbers down. That tells me they're probably lying a lot bigger than that. If they're willing to tell that little obvious lie that anybody can look at and see, then they're probably willing to tell the big lies that are happening behind the scenes that we just don't even know about. So here's Trump today. Oh, another essay. Oh, boy. I don't know if I can do it, guys. I don't even want to do the job. Here's Trump today. The European Union is at it again. Trump is at it again. The EU is at it again, as usual, taking direct aim at great American companies after having fined Apple. Apple's doing better than ever right now, actually, for no reason at all. This guy. So Trump is now buddy-buddy with Apple, by the way. That's what this is. Apple that has rigged their products. that when there's a system update, the product goes defunct so they can sell more phones. Yeah, that Apple that engaged in censorship with the libs, with the left, the anti-Trump Apple, they're allies now. They're all buddy now. So Trump's defending them. Trump won't defend you, by the way. All you sellouts that think that Trump is going to have your back, he's not. He works with big tech now. He works with the military industrial complex now. He's moved on from you. Okay. No, whatever. He's bitching. I just can't even deal with this. I can't even deal with this. The penalties will be entirely reversed, and we anticipate a substantial tariff to be placed on them at the earliest possible moment. It's the press release presidency. He can't do the tariffs. He lost in court on the tariffs, and the tariffs haven't worked. The only thing the tariffs have worked to do is drive the cost of living in this country up. I'm going to tell you what Trump is really doing here. Has nothing to do with Apple. Has nothing to do with EU not being a good ally. It has nothing to do with that. I'll tell you what it is. Now, here's the other statement he makes. President Xi, at our recent meeting in Beijing, China, told me that he would not, under any circumstances, give or sell weapons to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and that statement included Chinese companies. Considering our relationship, I take him at his word, and besides, I am doing him very big favors. Likewise, President Putin, despite the horrible war going on in Ukraine, the relationship remains as it does with President Zelensky, which just tells you it's all fake. Told me that he would not sell weapons to Iran. He understands that I do not sell weapons to Ukraine. But to NATO countries, they pay the full price. And how those weapons are distributed, I have no idea. What an embarrassment. I mean, this is just an ass. I mean, Trump, this is just an ass statement, guys. This is embarrassing. Look, guys, there's times where Trump makes us proud, okay? This is Trump is an ass. This is Trump is making an ass of himself on the international stage. We don't help Ukraine. What are you talking about? We don't help Ukraine. Does Trump think Vladimir Putin is stupid? I know one thing is true. Vladimir Putin is not stupid. I don't know if I can say the same about Trump anymore, but I can tell you Vladimir Putin is not stupid. You think this is where, we're not helping Ukraine. We're not arming Ukraine. We're not helping Ukraine's war. Come on, Vlad. I know you're helping Iran now because you think we're helping Ukraine. We're not helping Ukraine. What a joke. Guys, nobody takes this guy seriously. It's all a show. It's literally all a show. Nobody in the international community, no international leader looks at this and says, oh, wow, Trump has a point here. Every single world leader looks at this and says, what is this ass talking about? Does he think I'm stupid? Oh, okay. So now he wants China and he wants the EU to pay for the war. So let me translate this for you guys. The Pentagon is begging for money. Earlier this week during a hearing, the Pentagon is broke and they have no money. So Hegseth lied. So Hegseth lied for the last 6 months that the Pentagon has all the weapons it needs and all the money it needs. He lied. Because when he was on record, he said it's broke and we don't have any weapons, and he asked for $80 billion. Pentagon's broke. We have no money. And we're fighting 2 wars right now. And the American people are also broke. Just not the Trump family. They're doing very well. So what is Trump doing? He's asking the EU to pay for the war, guys. He's asking China to pay for the war, and he thinks he can use tariffs to do it. Folks, this war has broke us. This war has broke our country. It has broke the morale. It has broke the coalition. It has broke the movement, and it has actually financially broke us. So the Trump administration can't just come out and tell you this, obviously, because that's Trump's fault. So they're never going to take responsibility. So instead, they're going to rant and rave and blame the EU and ask the EU to pay for it. They're going to rant and rave and blame China and blame Russia and ask them to pay for it. And then they're going to go to the Pentagon during a hearing and say, we need more money from the American people. Folks, this war has broke us. Trump has broke the country for the donors. He broke the country for Israel's interests. He broke the country. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. We're not going to feel the real effects of this for another 2 years, guys. And I have a feeling the effects of this are going to be catastrophic, worse than what he did to the country with COVID. But you have to ask, who is Donald Trump?
These globalists want to squander all of
Who?
America's strength.
Let me refresh.
These globalists.
This clip is going around today. Surprised it doesn't have more views. So who is the real Donald Trump? The Donald Trump that's in office, scamming this country, lying to the people? Or the Donald Trump that campaigned to be president on issues like this?
These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad.
We should have never gone into the Middle East. We should have never gone into the Middle East. Under my leadership, we will turn the page forever on those foolish, stupid days of never-ending wars.
We're rebuilding our military stronger than ever before, and we are not going to deplete it again on stupid, senseless, endless wars. World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state. I am the president who delivers peace.
I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war.
And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is going to drag us into World War III.
And this horrible, horrible president is dragging us toward World War III. We're going to be in World War III soon.
Because I think we would bad to Iran.
Large sections of the Middle East. I mean, look at the death and destruction that's taken place. And none of this would have happened if I were president.
Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. Together we're fighting to secure our borders, end the endless foreign wars, and defend the working people of America. But the Muslim and Arab voters in Michigan and across the country want a stop to the endless wars and a return to peace in the Middle East. That's all they want. Speaking of World War III,
We won't have.
I will be sure that World War III will not happen. I'm the only one can say it won't happen.
But I stand here today, and I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily.
So what do you make of that? How do you rationalize with that if you still support Trump? How do you mental gymnastics trick your way out of that if you still support Trump? Now, I already know the response because these are the brainwashed people now. It's like the reason why it was so easy to go out and own the libs for all those years is because they were totally brainwashed and it was easy to know what they were going to say to everything. Now that's MAGA. Now MAGA is under total brainwashing mind control. So I already know what they'll say. Well, things changed. Things changed. Okay. Things changed. You need to donate a kidney. What are you talking about? Things changed. You got to donate a kidney, man. Oh, it was Biden's fault. It was Biden's fault. Okay, then Biden, everything that happened in the Biden administration is Trump's fault. You guys can't wiggle out of this. There's no way for you to go, guys. I don't know what it was that happened, but it ain't the Trump you voted for. I don't know what it is that happened, but it ain't the Trump that campaigned for president. It ain't even the Trump from the first administration. Trump is now a globalist. Trump is now a big tech warmongering globalist. He's everything we stood against. He's everything he stood against. Make your own determination as to why. Is it the Adelson money? Is it blackmail? Is it the Epstein files? Is it whizzing a bullet by his head? I don't know. But this is not the Trump we voted for. This is a globalist, big tech warmonger now. This is everything I stand against. And I'm not in a cult. And I don't suck politicians' balls. And I'm sick and damn tired of watching these Americans that do. It's embarrassing what the right wing has become. It's pathetic what cuck-servatives have turned into. You're embarrassing us all. And now our country's broke because of it. So Trump just wants you to accept the big tech surveillance state now. This is what he said yesterday at the EPA.
Because you have to convince your community how great these things. You can't fight it. You have to go with it. And you're going to have all that protection, and we're giving you automatic protection, but you're going to make a tremendous amount of money. You're going to reduce taxes, and you're going to have something that if you don't have it, everybody else wants it. Because
nobody wants it. It's going to drive the cost of living up. I mean, this is just what you can't fight it, America, except the big tech tyranny. I can't believe what this man has become. And again, I'm not even as mad at Trump. I'm more mad at the people that still support this. I'm more mad at the right-wing cucks that still support this garbage. I'm still mad at the right-wing sellouts, phonies, and frauds that still protect this liar. Oh, everybody wants it. You can't fight it. You just have to accept big tech tyranny. And then what he gives it, it's going to be free money. Everybody's going to be rich. You're going to have less taxes. It's going to be so rich. I mean, good Lord, if you fall for this, you are so dumb. Honestly, if you fall for this, you're dumber. You know that old show, Are You Dumber Than a Fifth Grader? That's MAGA. But it's like second grader. It's like even a first grader wouldn't fall for this garbage. So he's doing it again. So now, since nobody wants these data centers, now Trump is just saying how, everybody wants them and they're going to make you rich.
incredible to look at, to see that we could do something like this. But they also throw off tremendous amounts of money for the community. And when you look at Georgia and you look at the revenue, think of that revenue from Google's data center construction, allowing them to eliminate all property taxes. Did you know that, Brian? That's not bad, right? So thank you very much. Great job. That's a great job.
Yeah, I'm going to bet that's not happening. Okay. Nobody's eliminating your property taxes. They do this every year, guys. They do this every year during an election cycle. They do this every single year during an election cycle. They tell you they're going to cut property taxes. They literally never do it. But no, this is Trump going farther. Hey, just put in the data centers. You'll be rich. It's free money. Those things you put in a data center, money just starts flying. You're like, oh my, where this money's coming from? It's the data centers. Whoa. Did you see all that money? Comes from the data centers. And the best part about it is that it's got my signature on it. I signed the money myself. If you're lucky, you'll find a Trump coin. It's got my face on it. Man, is that nice. Good God, I can't believe this. Oh. I'm sorry, guys. It's for whatever reason, it's weighing really heavily on me today. And I think that's because the realities of how bad it is they're just starting to catch up, guys. It's just starting to catch up how bad this thing is. I mean, when Trump is telling you you can't fight the data centers, when Trump is telling you too bad, you get another forever war. I mean, guys, this deal is cooked. And our economy is so bad and the government is so broke. Trump is out here. He's going to try the tariff method again. He already lost in Supreme Court. It's like, is anybody telling Trump, it's like, hey, President, you lost on the tariffs. You lost at the Supreme Court on the tariffs. I'm going to tariff him. Trump, you lost. He's like Dr. Evil. It's like Dr. Evil wakes up from the time machine. He's like, we're going to do global warming. And they're like, sir, global warming's already happened. He's like, we're going to blackmail the royal family. So the royal family's already blackmailed. It's like, this is like Trump. It's like, let's bomb Iran. We already tried that. Let's tariff the world. We already tried that. Let's say we've won the war. I've already tried that one too. Let's say it's free money. That's kind of commie. This is Trump, Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil Trump. It's just a clown show, guys. And, the only debate is it pure evil? This is just the narcissism of Trump that is totally taken over. He's just fully possessed by his own ego now. There's not even a real person there anymore. It's totally ego. That's why it's all about the cameras. It's all about everything has to be on camera. Everything has to be recorded. Everything has to be a press release. Everything has to have Trump's face, Trump's name, everything else. And he goes back and forth with the deal making. So, he's been saying for the last 6 months that Iran wants to make a deal. Then Iran doesn't make a deal. And then Trump bombs Iran to get them to try to make a deal. And then they still don't make a deal.
This is with this skirmish we have with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I call it that because let me tell you, they're getting hit so hard and they want to make a deal.
Oh, they want to make a deal. That's why they keep rejecting the deals. They want to make a deal. That's why I have to keep bombing them to make a deal. And they still won't make a deal. That's how bad they want it. It's just a damn clown show, guys. It's just a damn clown show. And this is what I realized. I'm going to move on. We got Mark Mitchell coming up here in a moment, so I'm going to move on here. But this is what I realized. I saw posts like this all day long, and I like Buzz Patterson, by the way. I think Buzz Patterson's a great American. But this is the mindset that it's like, this is what's so embarrassing. The best baseball player in the world meets the best president America has ever had. And it's like, oh, right. It's like, dude, this isn't a football game. You're not a cheerleader. What are you doing? That's what I'm saying. He's got these people totally mind controlled. It's like, as long as they see Trump on camera, it's like, everything's great. Look, it's Trump. Everything's the greatest. Hey, Marina Abramovich was right, though. Trump is really their greatest wizard of all time.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, we are about to be joined now by maybe the most accurate pollster out there. Actually, he might take that personally, that maybe. I don't know if he likes that maybe. Maybe it's a certainty, actually, the most accurate pollster out there. Mark Mitchell joins me now. Mark, I don't know if you want to start with your endeavors as an independent pollster, some of the news, just this with you personally as an independent pollster, or if you want to start getting into what some of the polls are indicating for you. But the Honest poll, you've got a new sign behind you. The Honest pollster, Mark Mitchell, joins me now.
Yeah, and let me say this one thing about accuracy. I try, but it's hard. It really is hard. It's not the only thing that you would look at if you're trying to predict races. And I'm not trying to predict the races. I'm just trying to give everybody data. But the one thing that I think differentiates myself and then people like Rich Barris, there's very few of us out there, is that we'll actually come out and say, well, the polls say this. You're being retarded. Stop being retarded. Do this instead. Get America what it wants. There are very few people that say that. And because of that, I've made a lot of enemies. But that's because I'm doing this for the voter. And they don't have a referee because politics is so owned by the special interests, by the foreign interests. And it's worse than it's really ever been, to be honest with you. And so that's where I've been for the last couple of months, was silenced. I was the head pollster of Rasmussen Report for 5 years. And I did a great job rebuilding the company's business. I went into commentary. I made a YouTube channel. And believe it or not, our YouTube actually kept us in the black. Like it was touch and go there for a while. And I never had any bad feedback until my credibility got me to the White House. It got me to a situation where I was using the polling to help Americans get what they want behind the scenes at the White House. And I was also being critical of Trump because I knew that Iran would be a really bad mistake. And all of a sudden, there was a situation where the owners of Rasmussen Reports had a potential check from a Trump-aligned political action committee. And the message I was told, well, your commentary might endanger that check. So all of a sudden, independent polling for 23 years goes out the window, and I was put into a box. And I knew I couldn't do right by the voters with that. I couldn't have somebody sell my credibility to the highest bidder. And so I started making the Honest poll. And finally, I'm free of Rasmussen Reports, and I'm going to be putting my first national tracking poll out this month. And we're going to go max. Like Charlie Kirk said, we are going to go max for the American people and ask the questions that everybody else won't touch. And we'll also be unafraid of any of the regimes. We'll call it like it is.
I can't help. I'm smirking because I'm listening to your story talking about wanting to go independent because you feel like you can't be honest about what you're doing with your work. Can't relate to that at all. I don't want to get you in trouble. Bummer. Everybody's good. I'm not trying. That's why I'm smirking. If you're wondering what the smirk was about. Yeah. It was so obvious. You talk about the Iran war. It was so obvious that this thing was going to go sideways. And so I'm listening to you recount, the developments that you witnessed kind of behind the scenes there for a while. You're not the only person that has had a similar experience inside of DC, inside of the White House. Is there an aggressive gatekeeping campaign to keep information from President Trump? Or is that the decision that they've made, Trump himself, saying, hey, we just don't want anything but good news. We don't want anything but people in here telling us we're great. Is it a little bit of both? Or how does this dynamic work out?
Well, so believe it or not, I don't think there's a gatekeeping operation. I think Donald Trump is very much in charge of that White House. And the reason why is because when I went in November, after my segment on Alex Jones, after being vocal and all these DMs I got from people who were burning their Trump hats, is that they brought me in. And there was very much this feeling of concern that they had lost Charlie Kirk as a moderating voice, and they were bringing a bunch of people in, not me, just me. And that Trump was so much surrounded by people like Lindsey Graham and Sean Hannity and Larry Ellison and all the billionaires and Miriam Adelson, and that he needed other voices. And he didn't really, in my opinion, listen to me much, but I gave him what I thought was really great feedback on what he would do if he wanted to win the November midterm elections. And of course, it had nothing to do with foreign interventionism at all. It was like, hey, focus on domestic policy. People can't afford to live. We have a major cost of living problem, wealth inequality. And quite frankly, I told him to his face is that he was acting like an oligarch. And that's exactly what happened, because after my meeting, he went and met with some billionaires about statues they were given. So I think like what really is happening, and I'll tell you, I felt like Susie Wiles was there to manage him and not to manage some like higher strategy. And so I think he just he's at the end. Like he's fought as much as he's going to fight, and he wants to be successful now, and he wants to make people happy, and he's just going to do what people convince him to do. And I think behind the scenes, I gave polling to the White House about the Iran strike that showed that it was unpopular. And I heard that that was actually being very successful in making them second guess, like doing this until the last 2 days. And so I'm sure he got shown something. And you can always cherry pick polling that says, hey, you should do this. Like 85% of America wants Iran to not have a nuclear program. Well, it's like obvious, but at what expense? And the answer was not at the expense of everything Trump promised. And it was so clear. And it didn't work. Then we went and did the strike, and then I got shut up, and here we are.
Well, and even you did polls about, would there be a limit of how many dead Americans would you accept for such an endeavor? And we can get there. I don't want to spend too much time on, the inner workings of the White House, but I will say that, your polling is about, I guess, depending on the poll, but probably about 2 to 3 months ahead of everybody else, I would say on average. With some of the bigger issues like foreign policy, you seem to be about 6 months ahead, but I think that's by design. I think that DC wants to keep the reality of the disastrous foreign policy as, quiet as possible, as long as possible. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, I'm sure you saw, even Fox News polls are now down for Trump, really badly. And the two issues that if I'm looking at this from a midterm perspective, you're looking at Trump is now losing to Democrats on the economy. Trump is now losing to the Democrats on direction of the economy. So Americans are saying we're not good right now. We trust Democrats more than Trump, and we aren't looking good for the future, and we trust Democrats more than Trump. This is something that has flipped. You started showing indications of this 3 months ago. They just ran the Fox poll of that this week. So where does this go next then, Mark, since you're ahead of everybody else? Where does this go next on these polling numbers?
So you have a lot of polls dropping these issue questions that show an overarching theme, which is Republicans are losing on the things that they should be winning on. They used to win by 10, 15 points on the economy, on wealth inequality, on immigration, and that's why they won the election. And now, like on that Fox News poll, they were underwater on immigration. Now, it's not because ICE is out there busting down doors. It's because people want the deportation numbers up. They have not soured on mass deportations. And mass deportations was an economic signal. That's why people voted for Trump. They want higher wages because they can't deal with this massive runaway inflation. And so the Fox News dumped this just like, oh, look at that. Underwater, 22 points on wealth inequality when you were the economic populist Republican for the first time. And you basically just lost all of that higher ground. Now, what's been going on generally in polling is that over the last 2 months, there's actually been an uptrend in generic ballot. It went from, I think, about Democrat plus 7 or 8 up onto Democrat plus 5. So the Republicans have been gaining over the last 2 months. And that's what you said is, there are some leading pollsters, and I'm not in the field right now. I will be next week, but Emerson's a good pollster. Rich Barris is a good pollster, and they've come out with Democrat plus 10, Democrat plus 11. These are horrifying numbers. So what happened is you had people out in front saying, okay, it's not as bad for Republicans because gas price is getting better. It's July 4th. People are chilling out because of the summer. The entire industry herded there. But now the people who are the leading indicators in the polling industry, the good polls, are saying, like, it's starting to look really bad. And what do we see? We also see gas prices blowing out. We see a lot of people looking at the clock and saying, well, what's going to happen with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? Wow, Iran's only got to really get it 3 or 4 months, and they could take out Bibi Netanyahu and Trump in one go. So we put them in a very terrible situation, not having the political will to see this thing through, or the military means for that matter. I mean, it's just like retarded on so many different levels. Like even Trump's meager legislative agenda as it was. Well, if he was going to do another major reconciliation push and build these MAGA bills, it would have happened in January, February, March, and April. And now we're not going to really get anything out of Congress. And you have him out there giving speeches about election integrity while the Senate won't vote to pass the SAVE Act. But there's just so many humiliation rituals going on that even if the polling numbers, and here's my big fear, even if the polling numbers say it's not that bad for Republicans, what have you seen time and time again is the Republicans are underperforming the polling in every one of these special elections because of the enthusiasm, the betrayals, the like all these independents and young crossover Democrats who are just like, I tried Republicans once and it was the biggest rug pull of mine.
Well, it's funny. You say the humiliation rituals. The problem with that, Mark, is that only works if the person is humiliated. I don't really see much humiliation as all of this is happening. Now, here's a question. This is kind of a longer term thing. You've been doing polls for a long time, and I've had this working theory for a couple of years now that, you know, when we look at elections and results, we point to sometimes the same things, right? We point to the economy, we point to education, safety. Like these are the three things maybe you could say that everybody thinks about going to the polls. But I have a different theory, especially when it comes to the presidential election. I think that this theory holds true. The one biggest factor that is swinging presidential power is actually foreign policy. I don't think it's the economy. I don't think it's the border, all these other things. I actually think it's foreign policy. And the reason I believe this is if you go back and you recall what happened in 2008, Hillary Clinton was supposed to be the Democrat nominee. The whole thing was cooked for Hillary to win. Obama was kind of the dark horse that came out of nowhere. So what happened? Obama ran against Bush's foreign policy in the Middle East. That's what put him against Hillary Clinton. That's how he beat Hillary Clinton. And ultimately, that's how he became president, was because of he was running against the Middle East foreign policy. I think you could argue the same thing about Trump in 2016. Trump was running very similarly to Obama against the Middle East foreign policy of George Bush. He won. Now, we won't get into 2020. That's obviously an anomaly. Do you think I'm onto something here? Do you think the foreign policy in the Middle East is the biggest swing factor in determining presidential elections? And if that is the case, does that indicate that unless Trump changes course here, a Democrat is a shoo-in for 2028? Yeah.
So, like, yes, but. And so I would say that why Trump won was because Hillary Clinton on many levels was a horrible candidate. And Trump came out of nowhere with a very unconventional Republican platform that included a foreign policy that wasn't interventionist. I think that was all baked into part of the cake. I think whether that had been part of his platform or not, like people were certainly tired of all of these foreign wars, but so much of it was like, hey, we're putting you first. Hey, we're going to fight for you against China. Hey, like we're going to get rid of all the illegals. There was just so much to like. It's hard to know. Now, I will say, like, he had a big impact on the way that people perceive the world, because we had questions about, for instance, whether China was your ally or your enemy. Very few people said ally, but also very few people said enemy until Trump came around. Like we had it going in 2 years from 15% enemy to like 50% in like from 2015 to 2017. So now then you have, and like the other thing to acknowledge is that the Republican Party has been very pro-Israel. And so where this is affecting, you know, like that was a 62, 63, whatever it was, million turnout for Trump. Where this is affecting the politics is the marginal voter. It's that extra 15 million votes that Trump got. And in our polling, it's probably high, but in our polling in 2024, 40% of his support came from independents and Democrats. So these people are not Republicans. They are not neoconservatives. They don't like bombing brown people. And so definitely among those people, it had a much higher resonance, but they were still voting as it was really a response to the overreach of the Biden administration. It was like, and everybody says the economy, but what we saw very specifically with Biden is the major fundamental questions, like, are you better off than you were 4 years ago, dropped from mid 50s to mid 30s. So like people got, like there was a problem. It was an existential election in 2024. And so they were begging for anybody but a continuation of the status quo. And what did we get? The freaking status quo. We got more inflation. We got another war. We got other people being put in front of the American people. And it was also very much a referendum on a lack of institutional trust. So 70% don't trust the federal government. 72% are concerned with living in a police state. These are all numbers leading up to the 2024 election. So all of this Trump hasn't delivered on. He was expected to drain the swamp. That was a very popular position. He was expected to restore trust in the federal institutions. People thought that they were getting major Doge audits. People thought that they were going to get some. It's like, finally, Trump's been around 10 years. We're going to get everything he's promised. And now it's like nothing. And it's gotten so bad. Like, we asked a question a month ago, has Trump fulfilled his promises more or less than previous presidents? Only 33% say more, 50% say less. So even if you look at his job approval, like, these numbers are even worse. So you have people sticking with Trump, like, knowing that it's a humiliation ritual, essentially. And yet, of the people who still identify as Republicans, 60% still support Israel and want to continue this war. So where we're going is a immovable force meeting an unstoppable object, whatever. Like, this is going to be a civil war within the Republican Party, as you have the neoconservative wing that's been preeminent for decades, does not want to give up power, and it has the majority of the Republican side. And then you have this new wing that's got the moral authority of, like, no, the voter has to come first. You guys are wrong. Miriam Adelson and Chabad are dictating foreign policy, and this is bad. Like, and those two sides are probably going to clash in a way that causes Republicans just generational loss. And that's probably healthy. Like,
Well,
knock on wood, I hope
that's the debate, isn't it?
we don't wind up in a gulag. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that is the big debate. And I think the difference now with that in 2016, because I think we already did that in 2016, and, you know, Trump was our guy. So now it's like the opposite has happened, and, you know, Trump is with, well, Lindsey Graham isn't with us anymore, but, you know, you get the point. Trump is with the Lindsey Graham wing of the Republican Party. So the people don't like that, you know, and that's what led to Trump winning in 2016 is we already beat the neocons. I think we're going to beat them again. The only difference now is beating them again means Republicans are going to lose power. Have you gotten too much into the weeds as far as where you think the Senate is going to go right now? I think this is going to be, I mean, a two vote majority either way is about the maximum. So I think there's really about a four vote swing possibility here, 2 for Democrats, 2 for Republicans. Have you crunched these numbers to the point where you're willing to make a guess at which way you think the Senate might go?
I'll pull a couple of the races myself. I've looked at the polling that exists, and some of these places are like basically toss-ups, right? Like Ohio, where Trump won by double digits, is a toss-up right now. But the problem is you just look at some of these races. Like, I pulled Chitterelli's race in New Jersey. The good pollsters had Chitterelli down like 1 to 3 points. I had him down 6. He lost by 13. And he lost entirely with the under 40 voter. And the under 40 voter came out big for Democrats. Like, they were able to turn out a significant portion of Kamala Harris's base. A lot of those people probably voted for Trump. And so this is the problem I'm really looking at, which is, you know, people are looking at the maps based on the polling, and I've seen it everywhere from Dem +2 to Republican +2.
Yeah.
At the end of the day with the Senate, though, if Republicans keep a +2 lead, it means they're down 5, is what it really means. And it's like you're going to see maybe more of these bipartisan bills sail through. And that's bad. But, like, I'm looking at the House, and here's why I think the House is important. And the House is a coin flip, right? My last generic ballot was Democrat +4. And people would say, well, based on redistricting with a Democrat +4, Republicans could pick up a few seats. Every one of those redistricting analysis is based on a 2024 turnout with Trump on the ballot. We do not have that. And we have demoralization. And so it's very possible with Act Blue. Everybody says, look, the Republicans have a massive fundraising advantage until you throw in Act Blue, and they've raised $2.4 billion since the beginning of 2025. They're going to put that all into ads of Trump counter signaling his own base, and it could go really bad. I'm not ready to predict blue wave yet, but I'm just saying the potential exists for a major pickup in the House. If Democrats pick up a majority at all, I think what we're going to see is wall-to-wall show trials of anti-corruption cases against people in the Trump administration. They're going to go after antitrust. They're going to go after pardon sales. They're going to maybe go after foreign influence. They're going to go after a lot of things, which means not only is Trump's legislative agenda dead, he's political capital is probably shot as well. And so that's the crazy thing. It's like we've had Trump since 2015. It's been 11 years now. We could be 3 months away from him being essentially a lame duck, which means the future of the conservative movement is up for grabs. People are going to have to redefine MAGA, because right now MAGA is like Ben Shapiro. It's just so drifted off of what it was. It needs to be something different. And JD knows this. I've talked to him. It needs to obviously have a strong component of economic populism, but they can't just say those words anymore. Nobody's going to believe him. I don't even think JD can win now on that platform because people are going to be like, I don't trust you anymore. But that sets up a really great situation for a charismatic dark horse populist on the right. Somebody nationalistic, and I hate to say it, not as capitalist as your traditional Republican Party because like current capitalism sucks and doesn't serve the people. But capitalism is losing to socialism under 50 now, under the age of 50. And capitalism lost 50% for the first time, like in our polling ever. And so, like, this is the problem. It's the entire system is broken, and Republicans just have their hands over their ears and are making loud noises. And
yeah, I agree with your analysis on JD. And I would say if he really wants to win, or, you know, I think the biggest interest in him getting into the White House is going to be from the tech lobby that would back him. They're pretty smart and they can afford to play the long game, not like the foreign lobby. The foreign lobby has a very short window. We'll get to that in a second. So I think if they're smart, they'll wait for 2032 to run Vance. I think everybody is probably going to realize pretty soon that there's a very slim chance of any Republican winning in 2028 and an even slimmer chance if you're associated with Trump. I mean, maybe the polling indicates that too. That's just kind of how I feel about it. Yeah, I would agree. The whole thing is a toss-up. I don't think there's really a blue wave in the cards. It's really just a matter of can Republicans maintain their majority, even be it slim, and that's what I think. Right now, I'm not so sure. It's going to be. I would say probably no. I would. Yeah, if I was going to bet, I would say no. Now, here's what we do know: Netanyahu is coming to town for Lindsey Graham's funeral. The last time. Well, I don't know if that's going to end up being what happens, but they did just announce he's coming to visit with Trump for an 8th time. So whatever the occasion is, Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be visiting with Trump for an 8th time. Most of any foreign leader has met with the president of the United States in any administration ever. So that says a lot. The last time this happened, Mark, was New Year's Eve, and this is how it went down.
It was a big hug fest.
Well, what they realized is that, like you, the polls are not very good. And the people don't support the war. So they made that decision on New Year's Eve at Mar-a-Lago, or Netanyahu did, whoever. And they said, we have to move forward with this war before the midterms. Because if we wait till after the midterms, we're not going to have the same power. We're not going to have the same influence. So we have to do it before the midterms. Well, it hasn't really gone their way. So my guess is really Netanyahu is coming to town to reevaluate with Trump what to do with this war in Iran ahead of the midterms. Figuring that they might lose their ability to do anything after the midterms. And I would just say this, you know, you said show trials. I think it was show trials for the first Trump administration. I don't think there'll be show trials anymore, Mark. I think they will
be real. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 100%.
I think they'll be legitimate. Yeah, I think there'll be legitimate trials. And I'm just stunned that nobody seems to be concerned about this. It's like, what is this feeling of invincibility happening inside the administration right now? Can you even try to put a thought to that? Well,
so my gut feeling, and I'm not a creature of Washington, D.C., is that the fear of this coming, and if I'm an outsider and I heard about it 7 or 8 months ago, and I heard that there were multiple congressional offices in D.C. working around the clock to build these cases, and it was very real. What I thought you would see by now is major defections, like people leaving and just, I did my 1.5 years and it's time to move on to green pastures, and just people jumping ship from the Trump administration. But we haven't seen that. And so my mind immediately goes to the pardon situation that Joe Biden did, where he just like threw all scruples to the wind and just pardoned everybody and their mother. And I guess maybe that's the feeling. It's like, if you just stick close to Trump and stay on his good side, everything will be okay. You're going to get pardoned. I don't know. That's the only thing I could come up with. Now, as for the Iran thing, it's like, you're right. They should not have done it before the midterms. It was basically the best 1.5 years of Trump's political capital he was ever going to get in his political career. He had a mandate. He had every house of the government, ostensibly, and it was meager. And then they said, you know what? For this year, we're just going to like do this other thing. because if the Democrats win, which they should historically, then we can't do this other thing. And this other thing happened to be probably the number one thing his number one donor wanted to do. And I heard, again, can't say who, but like I gave them polling. It said that an Iran strike only had 37% support. And they came to me because all the other polling was so cooked with so many push polls. Like, hey, Trump is going to order the military to take out the Ayatollah and destroy all of Iran's nukes. Do you support or oppose? Well, people are going to support that. That doesn't mean that, like, when you do it, that's what they're actually going to think, because they're not going to get all that context. They're going to see their gas price go up, right? And then, like you mentioned, 51% of America said that if we got involved with Iran, they would tolerate 10 or fewer U.S. troop casualties. We're already past that, right? So clearly America didn't want this. And I heard, I think it was on February 26th, the words that were told me is that I was doing God's work and that my polling was going to help good prevail. And then, of course, it did not. So
well, it's funny that you say that, because that was very much of my call it an opening monologue today, was a similar warning saying, hey guys, if you think when all of this stuff ends that somebody's going to protect you, or specifically that Trump is going to protect you, you got another thing coming. I don't want to see that, even to the people that are running his social media that do, attack pieces against me. I don't want to see it for them either. I've happened to have been there, and I can tell you how that's going to go. A couple things here before we let you go.
Yeah.
What do you make of Trump yesterday? So I guess they've accepted the fact that data centers are not popular. I don't know if they're getting these polls from you, but they obviously have accepted the reality that the data centers are not popular. Trump comes out yesterday and says, sorry, you can't fight it. We have to basically trick you into thinking that this is a good thing. You have to convince your community that this is a good thing. How much of an uphill battle is that? Is it an issue where maybe you can get ahead of it, maybe you can beat it, or is it an issue where Americans are going to see you promoting data centers and run for the hills? And even to the extent you kind of mentioned earlier, is it such a big issue that people will vote for the different party? Will people vote for a party they've never voted for on a data issue, a data center issue alone?
So I think it's one of these symbolic issues, okay? And so if you look at like Epstein, for instance, when you stack rank issues, Epstein isn't that high. It just, like, people don't care that much. But then when you ask them, well, like, hey, should we have a two-tiered system of justice where the wealthy and powerful just get away with murder? Like 95% of them are going to say, like, no, that's like retarded. We shouldn't do that, right? And so I think that this is very similar to that, in that, like, and again, this has gone on, and really in the last month or two, we haven't polled the data center, and I haven't seen polling, but I'm pretty sure I know what would happen. So we have this one question: does big business have too much influence or not enough influence in the Trump administration? 50% say too much, only 10% say not enough. So 5-1, people say that the big business is too in bed with the Trump administration. And that's why back in November, I told him that he had to smash the oligarchy and not be the oligarch. And so this is symbolic of his whole administration. This is the guy that went to McDonald's and went on Joe Rogan and drove a trash truck and talked about, like, feeling everybody's pain, right?
The good old days. These are the good old days. We're reminiscing now.
Yeah. He was going to bring America a golden age, and he understood. And remember, in that first Trump administration, he invigorated the job market. Like, he did a lot. Like, the economy was turning around for real. And it's objectively not now, because he's focused on the Dow. He's surrounded by people like Larry Ellison.
Oh. How many people talk about the Dow? Does that even register? Does the stock market even register, Mark?
No. When you ask people what the economy is, very few people say stock market. It's like 3-1 they say jobs, and very few people actually have stocks as well. So no, it's tone deaf.
Yep.
And not only that, like, all the counter signaling, and again, each of these is like not an issue everybody knows about, but they're big issues, like the H-1B. If you talk about how great H-1B is, you're going to piss off everybody in tech who voted for you, a lot of young people, right? And so there's every single one of these. Like, don't talk to me about affordability. I don't want housing values to go down. It's just like one after the other. And so when he talks about, like, these AI data centers, I think people envision him flying around and meeting with all of these foreign billionaires and making all these deals, and none of that's going to trickle down. I think that's all dead. Like, I don't think anybody believes the supply side stuff. I don't like, it's just the oligarchs from the right who
And you know what,
fund the
Mark?
Americans for Prosperity urinating on people's heads. That's what trickle down is.
You might be able to do this. You know, these things are always going to be debated. There's always going to be a left-right paradigm. You know, it's just, this is the nature of our, you know, bipolar politics. But it's like, this is the stuff you do after you drain the swamp. This is the stuff you do after you do the mass arrests and all. It's like, this is the stuff that you try after you fix everything. And instead it got brought to the front of the line because that's what his donors wanted. And now I think we're about to see a massive fallout because of it. All right, final question for you. I know we're getting ahead of it, but you're the pollster. You're the guy. So I got to ask you. And I'm curious if how close what I think is going to happen is to what the polls are indicating. Who is right now the top candidate for the Republicans? Obviously, nobody's announced, but you have the polls. Who is the top candidate for Republicans? Who is the top candidate for Democrats right now?
So last time we did a Democrat matchup, Kamala Harris still won. And she's losing support, but she was still far and away the highest. And there's other pollsters that don't have her highest. They have people like Ossoff and AOC higher.
I saw AOC taking over for Kamala.
Yeah, a lot of this depends on the mode, right? So it's like if you're an online panel aggregator only pollster, you're going to get people who are more like tech enabled and they might
Younger.
Yeah. Like even the old people though are more internet adjacent because they might be on TikTok, right? But then it's like, okay, well, if you're doing like high dollar New York Times live operator cell phone calling, you're going to get older people who have no idea who AOC is, but they remember that Kamala Harris won. Now, very specifically, J.D. Vance was polling very well. He was, I think, a favorite between 40 and 50% to Rubio and DeSantis, like 10 or 11 for pretty much most of 2025. And last summer, he was winning matchups against every Democrat, but this is very important, except for Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders beat him by a couple of points.
Bernie?
Because people want populism. They are sick of failed capitalism.
Yeah.
And they're turning on capitalism increasingly, and the Republican Party is going to get steamrolled by this issue because all they want to do is preach these boomer values that have failed. Capitalism as we have it has failed. It's financialization, it's rent seeking, it's securitizations, it's usury, it's corporate welfare whores. Like this is what capitalism is now. The stock market, I don't even think we personally should have public equities. Like that's how, you know, I think privately held companies are more risk averse and there's a lot less churn and there's a lot long-term thinking. We have to reevaluate what capitalism means as an alternative to Democrat socialism, which is plunder the treasury. So now the problem with J.D. Vance matchups is that his polling's going down, Rubio's going up, and that's because like Fox News actually like percolates through the boomer brain, and these people are starting to support Rubio now because that's what the establishment wants, including Miriam Adelson, with every fiber of their being. Running him would be malpractice. People are begging for domestic policy, and he's the Secretary of State. Like his accomplishments mean nothing to people. And yet that's what the Republicans are going to get tricked into wanting. Now, I don't know if Vance runs or not. I think, like you said, he'd be smart to wait it out to 2032 and just let some retard get destroyed. It'll probably be Rubio.
Yeah, it's going to be Rubio. We all see the dollars and the lobbyists lining up behind Rubio. It's funny you didn't mention the one guy I think is my favorite to win is Gavin Newsom. I don't care what party. I think Newsom is the favorite to win. Wouldn't surprise me if he throws a Cortez on there just to, have a female and bring in the young DSA audience.
He lost to Vance last year. I think he would probably win now.
It's
by
a lot worse. Points. Yeah, it's a lot worse for Vance now than it was then, obviously. Yeah. All right. Hey, Mark, let people know how they can follow you. Let people know how they can follow your polls. What's the best place to keep up with all your great work?
Yeah. Thanks again for having me on so fast. I have been at this company, the company I founded, for less than a week now. So you're in like the first 3 or 4 interviews there, Owen. I really appreciate it.
Well, I wanted the first. I tried to get the first is what I tried to do. I'll take it. If you're not first,
I'm sorry. I promised Alex like 3 months ago, bro.
All right. Oh, and you have to rub it in my face too. You have to go with my old boss, huh?
Oh wow. Well, my studio is brand new. I just lost a sound panel, as you might have heard.
No, I wish I had you on full screen. We could have caught that.
Yeah, right. So the honestpoll.com is the new website. It's just a splash page now, but I'd really appreciate everybody going there and signing up for the free Substack newsletter. And I'm not going to spam people. I'm only going to send stuff out when we have a new poll. We're probably going to have our first national tracking poll next week. Some good topics. I want to go over what has the most influence over the Trump administration. We're going to throw everything out there. Big business, Israel, donors, like all that stuff. And Honest Poll Co. is the new Twitter account. And my main Twitter account's at Honest Pollster. So really appreciate a follow. And thanks again.
Of course, Mark Mitchell, guys, amongst the best, maybe the best when it comes to polls. Follow him there. We appreciate your time. Have a great weekend, Mark.
You too. I'm certainly the most based. So,
well, that's what matters these days. We got to love you for that at least. All right, Mark. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, brother.
You too. See you.
All right. There goes Mark Mitchell. Guys, I got a Mark sandwich. Happening today. We go from Mark Mitchell to Mark Lynch, and this is very important right now because obviously what happened with Lindsey Graham opens up the Senate seat in South Carolina. Mark Lynch finished second behind Lindsey Graham in the primary, and so, you'd think there'd be a little respect for that, a little decorum there to at least, maybe say, hey, this is the guy that finished second. Let's roll with him. But I want to find out from Mark if that's the case. So Mark Lynch joins me now. Mark, what's going on in the aftermath and the chaos? Obviously we're watching them just kind of replace Lindsey with Darlene here, like an Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom switcheroo. What's going on behind the scenes? How much pressure is there? Are people getting squeezed in? Are people getting squeezed out? Has the Republican Party contacted you? Mark Lynch joins me now.
Owen, good to see you again. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah, it's evolving fast every day. The Republican Party with Donald Trump, was endorsing Russell Fry if he would run for the race, and he's running for his House seat in Congress. And so he asked our governor if he would give him an exception where he could run for the U.S. Senate race. And if he loses, he gets to keep his run for the House race in Congress. And
wow. What a nice gamble. Hey, can I make a bet and not lose anything? Wow. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. I don't get that,
Nobody does. That's not how life works.
Have your cake and eat it too.
Of course.
And then for Darlene, our rules committee in the state, the Republican GOP party, just a few weeks ago passed a rule that a candidate has to vote in the last 2 out of 3 primaries to be eligible to run. And she hasn't done that, and they're kind of letting her do that. And she's received Trump's endorsement. So, it's us out here, the true patriots, running against the machine.
Yeah. I got to ask you after hearing this, because to me, from my perspective, knowing how all this works, it sounds like a squeeze job. It sounds like they're intentionally trying to squeeze you, specifically you, out because you're not controlled. You're not controlled by the donor class. You're not controlled by the lobbyists. You can run your own campaign how you want to run it. You've even funded your own campaign. And it seems like that's the type of candidate that this Republican Party doesn't want right now. So they're bending the rules, even outright breaking the rules to keep you out. That's what it sounds like to me, Mark. I don't know if you want to go that far, but that's how I'm interpreting this.
Yeah. I mean, we're all watching it, and the voters that are endorsing me, they're furious about this. So it's all unfolding, and we're watching how far they're going to go. And it's really sending a true signal of what's happening in the country, because this boils down to me, Owen, is an election integrity issue.
Well, and that's what I want to go now. I want to go local. Obviously, my audience, my show is really national politics, so we're not getting into the weeds of South Carolina. But I've been to South Carolina. We did an interview there with you almost a year ago now. I've been in and out of South Carolina politics a little bit. You've got great patriots out there, and we like to work with them. So I am curious what the reception has been like. It's such a strange phenomenon. It seems like you get to these political events with really informed people. At that time, they weren't really fans of Lindsey Graham. Donald Trump used to campaign against Lindsey Graham. Okay, he switches sides. Lindsey Graham wins. But yet it seems like the real movement, the real politics in South Carolina, the people that are willing to go door to door, they are not really of the neocon breed. They're not really of the neocon brand. So it's like, is it just DC versus local politics, or what is this struggle session happening trying to get all these people above you?
Yeah, well, there's definitely the establishment, old guard, the good old boy club that are protecting each other, and there's a lot of corruption in the state and at the federal level in DC that's funding all of this. They spent over $50 million to stop me with the most vulgar, biggest lie campaign ever attacking me. Lindsey Graham did, and we still got up right at 30%. And I believe we got more. There's probably some issues with the machines. We had an analyst looking at the algorithms of the election data, and we've definitely come up with some proof that there was some tampering going on with the numbers. And, here we go again. It was a tragedy what happened to Lindsey, and everybody's been praying for the family and all that, and we did too. But now things are moving on, and there's a new window that opened. And we're a God-first campaign, and maybe this is a new path he designed. I don't know. But there's no coincidences if you're a believer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Republican Party still is hands off me. They've never contacted me or supported me in the first race. They fought at every level not to let us speak. They were blocking news shows and wouldn't let us get on. We couldn't get on Fox News or Newsmax or anything like that. They wouldn't have us. They wouldn't call us.
They would have Lindsey. They would have Lindsey like 3 times a week before his death.
And so it's been a hard fight, but we don't give up. That's not my way of doing things. We have been a fighter. I've been put through the fire at an early age and am an overcomer, and we've been fighting in our business against national chain stores for years. We're going to be in our 75th year this November, debt-free, and some of the companies we've had to fight that are no longer here are Sears and Roebuck and Circuit Cities and H.H. Gregg and so on, and we're still here. And our business continues to grow because we know how to service people and do it the right way, and we have a great culture here in our company, and our employees are awesome. And they stay and end up working 30 years and retiring. And so it's a great opportunity for South Carolinians to get a true conservative that'll represent them in D.C. And, we can't repaint the legacy of Lindsey Graham. One thing good that he did is he sacrificed over 30 years of his life and service for the country and his state. But there was a lot of things he did wrong, and we know his nicknames of warmonger and granting amnesty to mass illegal aliens in the country, and a lot of things he did that people were sick of. And so that's why I ran, and we don't need a Lindsey 2.0 with nepotism, bringing in the family, protecting the king and queen of the Graham family, and installing her into this office. It's kind of, worthy that maybe Trump wanted to put her in the interim, and our governor agreed to do that. And now she's going to run with the ability to run against the rules by not voting in the last 2 out of 3 primaries.
And where do they announce that? On Fox News. What do you know? Go figure. The same place that won't give you a shot. Mark Lynch is joining us. For those that don't know, and this is how they would like it to be, he finished second to Lindsey Graham in the primary just a few months ago. So you think that would kind of be the, all right, next man up on the depth chart respect type of gain in politics. But we know that things are way more corrupt than that. Mark, let's just get nuts and bolts with it right now for me. Tell us, when is the next big day? When is the next big deadline? What are the dates that people need to be looking at for South Carolina? What are the dates that people need to be looking at, the deadlines for people in South Carolina that are involved in this?
So filing opened up this past Tuesday to file, and the majority of the people are filed now. And then that closes, I believe, Tuesday. And then there's a 2-week period till August 11th. That's the special election primary for South Carolina's U.S. Senate race. And the candidates that have to win by 50% plus 1 vote. If not, it goes to a runoff with the top 2 2 weeks later on the 25th. And then that'll be decided then who is the nominee for the Republican Party to face the Democrat in the general in November.
So it sounds to me like everybody's kind of banking on a runoff. We're not thinking anybody can cross that majority threshold right now. And maybe that's even the intention. And that's why they're putting so many people on this ballot instead of trying to coalesce behind you or really anybody. Do you think that's by design?
Absolutely. They did that in the original primary. People filed the last week of March, and you don't run a U.S. Senate race for 60 days. We've ran it for over a year and a half.
Yeah. And by the way, you know, I'll note this for people that weren't paying attention to the race. And I think that you and another gentleman that was running against you at the time, Dan's, you know, I think that what you two did was what you guys basically built the blueprint in my mind on how to go up against swamp creatures and go up against neoconservatives like Lindsey Graham. You guys both ran clean campaigns. You didn't get into the mud with one another. You ran clean campaigns. And then when the time came, you said, all right, look, it's got to be one of us. We're in this for the country. You made a decision. Dan's ended up endorsing you. It's like, to me, that's the blueprint. You know, hey, look, we can't, if people want to run, then they're going to run and they want to run. That's fine. But it's like, we have to recognize that we still want to win. We're doing this for country. We're not doing this for name. We're not doing this for fortune. We're doing this for country. So it's like, okay, you get to a point and you say, hey, you know, good game, shake hands. We're endorsing you. You move forward. I'll take another try if I want next time. To me, that's the blueprint across the country that really, if we had a right-wing media that was unified and was able to like understand how this works, that's what we're pushing. Hey, you run good candidates against the swamp creatures, and then right before the election, everybody coalesces behind one, and you try to get as much momentum behind that candidate as possible. I know this is all old news, but for people that weren't paying attention, I wanted to give both of you credit for that. I think that was a very classy move, and I wish that we had kind of this anti-establishment right-wing movement that watched that and said, oh, this is a blueprint to success. Even if it didn't work this time, that to me is how it should be done. Did you guys feel like that was a purposeful thing, or did it just work out that way?
No, well, I mean, Paul approached us and we met and talked, and he did a humble thing. You know, he didn't have the finances we had, and his polling was less than ours. And he said, I'm still here to do the same thing. My focus has never changed. We've got to remove Lindsey Graham, and you're the guy, and I'm going to join you and endorse you, and let's get this done. And we met at USC that day, where we had one of your first interviews with me for 3 hours on stage, and it was awesome. And they thought we were going to have a debate, and the guy running the debate said he didn't understand. He hadn't heard the news because Paul just had done it like a couple of hours ago, took his name off the ballot and said, I'm endorsing Mark. So we were announcing his new plans that night. And that was April the 10th, I believe.
Well, that's the type of honor
thing.
Yeah, well, that's the type of honor you don't really see much in politics, right? I mean, it's like, so just seeing that level of honor and candidates saying, hey, this is about the country, not about me. This is about the country, not about the candidate. Let's go forward for victory. It was such a rare moment in politics. I at least wanted to give both of you guys kudos for that. So where do we stand as far as, are you getting help at all from the GOP, from the South Carolina GOP, or is it nothing but, ignored phone calls and no checks from the war chest?
Well, there's no financial help. They are letting us come to the debates now that it's an open seat. You know, all the debates and forums that were planned in the first race, Lindsey never showed up to one of them.
Yeah.
Not one.
Well, he was in Ukraine, so,
That's right.
he wasn't here. It was tough.
Yep. So they're letting me come to the debates, and there's a lot of them scheduled and formed. So we'll be at every one that we're all going to.
And is Darlene Graham going to be on that debate stage?
I hope so.
Boy, that's
we'll
interesting.
See.
I mean, look, I don't know Darlene Graham. She's never been involved in politics until obviously her brother was deceased. I'm concerned for her, how she can even manage on a debate stage. I'm not trying to be rude to her, but it's like, what does she know about politics? What does she know about the Senate? What does she know about South Carolina politics? Does she run a business? How is she? I don't know, Mark. I feel like they're going to keep her off that stage, I have to say. I don't think that they want to expose her like that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, I guess that gives you more opportunity to state your case again. Is that how you look at this?
Oh, yeah, that's great. But, I hope she'll show up because that makes it more interesting.
I'm surprised. I mean, after Lindsay died, and obviously, okay, we respect the dead, but it's like, this is stuff, business has to be handled here. This is a senator. Stuff has to happen immediately. You can't mourn the dead and think about that for too long. You have to start thinking about what we're going to do with the Senate seat. I'm surprised. It's like, even right afterwards, there was nothing. Like, there was nothing. Hey, even a consideration like, hey, Mark, we know you finished second. Are you interested? Like, was it total silence?
Total silence. And some news stories didn't include my name. They're only talking about her and maybe Ralph Norman and Russell Fry. But the first polling that came out from a college had Ralph at 16% and me at 13% with a 3% margin of error in the poll. But everybody hadn't announced they were running yet, but they did know it was Russell Fry and me and Ralph Norman and Darlene at that time. So we'll see.
Are you guys anticipating a big turnout? I mean, a senator dies, it makes big news. Is it going to result to a big turnout, or will most people have forgotten when the actual date comes?
Yeah, it's summertime. I hope there's a good turnout. We're probably thinking instead of maybe 17% of the electorate that maybe it'll be 10. But boy, it's gotten a lot of press with all of this, with his dying and the funeral arrangements and everything. So it might be pretty big. I hope it is.
Well, and I think there's going to be a big push, obviously, to whoever it is going to vote exactly as Lindsey Graham did. That's who Trump is going to get behind. That's who I think the GOP is going to get behind. They certainly know that's probably not you. I guess they don't know that until you vote. But my guess is, Mark, that you're not the type of guy that wants to vote for unending spending for wars overseas. You're probably not the type of guy that's going to tolerate amnesty bills and other such things that are trying to go through Congress right now. What do you make of the current state of the Senate, the current state of Congress right now? Where are we getting it right? Where are we getting it wrong?
Well, the SAVE Act hadn't been passed. Everybody talks about that. And I was the only one months ago that said, first time, even Todd Starnes on his show said, wow, did everybody hear what Mark Lynch just said? And what did I say? We would nuke the filibuster and not give an excuse for that anymore. If we have to, we'll form a committee to vacate John Thune and get him out of the way so we can do business again. Either him or the parliamentarian that's playing with the rules has got to go. We've got to remove the roadblocks and not have any excuses anymore. And everybody's got to vote, and the citizens get to see how you vote and keep accountability.
That's a people's candidate right there. You're talking like a people's candidate, Mark.
Right. And have a clean SAVE Act that's not tying in more pork like the NDAA and all the things that are happening. That was a sad day when all but 7 of the House members voted for merging our military intelligence with Israel. We've never done that with any country. That's unconstitutional. We're losing our sovereignty. So I'm very concerned about that, and it hadn't gone to the Senate yet, I understand, but I hope the Senate will do the right thing if it gets to them soon.
Well, when we first spoke last September, obviously we sat down and we spoke about some things beforehand. I said, hey, this is kind of the direction I want to go. Is there anything you want to make sure that you say? And, I told you, I was like, the hot topic is going to be foreign policy. This is the questions that I'm probably going to pose to you. And you were like, no, let's just go right into it. No fear. So you're still of that same mindset. Mark, it's so rare. It's so rare. I've talked to all kinds of politicians. Mark, I even talked to people that are in office about this, and they're like, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, but I can't say it publicly. And, out of respect for them and, telling me things off record, I'm not going to say who, but it's just like, why is it so rare? Why is it so rare for people to talk like you talk, Mark? Why is it so rare? Is it fear? Is it that they can't think they can win with that message? Is it that the money doesn't come in? To my audience, it's refreshing to hear somebody tell it like it is. especially with this recent NDAA and the merger. It's like, hey, even if you support Israel, whatever, it's a big contested issue. It's a big issue in American politics. Even if you support Israel, it's like, hey, shouldn't there be some hesitation? Shouldn't there be some like questions? Really, we want to merge this? This seems like the wrong time to do it. Why aren't more politicians on the right willing to at least say, hey, let's take a step back here and reanalyze the timing of this and have a debate about this? Why is it so hard for Republicans to say that?
I think you named it. It's fear. They're worried about their career. They've got to hide within the herd of the sheep and make sure they're saying the right thing that protects them. You know, my hat's off to the 7 that voted no for that. You know, and it's such a moral decline in our country, and everybody's just seeing what they can get out of stuff personally. You know, protect their individual funding that they have in D.C. and they don't want to lose that job and upset their voters for the next campaign season when they need to get reelected again so they can keep their seat. And, you know, I signed the term limits pledge and I still hold to that. And a lot of these people that have jumped into this race now said they were for term limits. You know, Ralph Norman was a House rep. He ran for governor, lost, and now he jumped in the U.S. Senate. And so he talked about the career politicians in Columbia when he was running against the other candidates for governorship. And how can that be that he's for term limits when he jumped right in this and was asking Trump for his endorsement early the next morning? That's crazy. You know, I called him for his endorsement and he said, Mark, I'm putting my name in the hat to run for U.S. Senate. And Mark Sanford's announced and filed yesterday. He called me and said, I just wanted to call you and tell you I was running. I said, okay, I already saw the news. That's good. You know, he jumped in on Nancy Mace's seat to run for the House in the lower part of the state. And he stayed in it 30 days and got out, and he didn't get his name off the ballot, but he withdrew publicly, but his name still stayed on the ballot, and he stole 8,000 votes against all the other candidates.
It's
so
crazy.
It's, you know, the whole thing's rigged and it's hard, and there's always been a good old boy protection. But yeah, these people are afraid to talk about the real stuff. You know, I'm the only one talking about banning flock cameras. We're moving into a surveillance state. Our police can take a picture of our license plate and drill down in and get into all of our privacy information with our finances and credit. And it's all moving towards the Agenda 2030 to bring in social scoring on the citizens so we can be locked down at home inside an invisible prison camp in our homes. And we're going to be kept from getting to our money or moving and traveling and other things. And people need to wake up. Our current politicians are not talking about the real threats, the national security threats that are happening, like red flag laws and hate crime bills and the sale of our land to China and flock cameras and all these things. And, you know, we're bringing in people across, they're walking in across the border, and then we're granting mass amnesty. There's a cycle that's been happening for several decades, and the Republicans are the ones doing it. We're the ones, the Republican Party are the ones granting amnesty to illegal aliens in this country, and that has all kind of collateral damage, and you and I and everybody are paying for this. We're not getting America first return on investment. We're funding all of the enemies of our country.
Well, you just nailed all of the things that Americans care about. You just nailed, I think, things that maybe even a majority of conservatives care about. There's just no representation. There's no representation in D.C., and this is why, you know, I wanted to make sure your voice got heard. This is why I don't, you know, live in South Carolina, but for what it's worth, I would endorse Mark Lynch. I hope anybody in my audience in South Carolina gets out there and supports Mark Lynch. Mark Lynch for Senate, folks. I mean, who else talks like this in the Republican Party? Not many. And the ones that do, we need to get behind. Mark Lynch is one of them. Mark, let people know where they can support you, if they can keep up with the race, keep up with the debates. I think this thing is going to get real interesting, especially when it comes debate time. And I think Darlene Graham doesn't show up, which maybe is good for you. You get a little more time on TV. But it just shows you how they're trying to cover up the true situation with this Senate race. So, Mark, just let everybody know, where can they follow you, support you if they're in South Carolina, help you try to win this race?
Yes. I'm asking everybody to pray. This is spiritual warfare at the deepest level. Go to lynchforsenate.com and donate. It takes a lot of money. We put over $5 million of our own money because we're committed to this. We're debt-free, my wife and I, and so we're committed. I signed the front of that check. That money didn't come from China or evil super PACs. It came from me. And I want to thank all the donors that did send money in. It was awesome. All the volunteers. We got to get up, stand up, and keep going. God's opened the door again, and we can finish what we started over 2 years ago, answering God's call and the call of the people. Thank you for your endorsement and support and faith, because we got to keep fighting. We're not going to ever replace people that are controlling the swamp unless good people get in. So
That's
help
right.
me get there.
That's right. Absolutely. Amen. God bless, Godspeed, Mark Lynch. We'll be following this campaign closely, and we'll be praying for your success and ultimately the success of South Carolina and our country as well.
Thank you, Owen. And God bless you for what you're doing for this country with your show. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and we're glad to have you on. And, anytime, anything we can help before we get there, we'll do it.
Yes, sir.
All right, there goes Mark Lynch. Guys, I'm telling you. I mean, how many candidates do you hear talk like that? Not many. Not many. And we got a shot. We got a shot to get candidates like that in. And Lord knows we need it. Lord knows we need it. All right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We still got, guys, I haven't even really gotten to the news today. I've been waxing. I've been ranting. I've had the guests on. So we'll finally get to the news. We'll get to your super chats. It is Friday. I don't know if we're going to have time for phone calls, but we'll try to do it all. Quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, guys, as you know, today's show is powered by Crash Out Energy. We had some crash outs in the first hour. We tried to, keep them subdued. We weren't really crashing out too much, but maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's up for you to determine. Crashout.energy. Folks, I made this energy drink because I was drinking energy drinks every day before the show. It's right before a show. You're doing a 3-hour transmission. You got to be focused. You got to be high energy. So I was drinking the 200 milligram energy drinks. I was chasing down my nootropics. And the more and more we learn about the bad ingredients in these energy drinks, the more you realize, you know what? I can't drink these every day. Not good for my health. I'm a very health conscious person. I said, I can't do it. So I said, why don't I make my own energy drink that has 200 milligrams of caffeine, all organic, natural ingredients, plus the nootropics in there for focus and mental clarity and energy that's actually good for you? Why don't I do that? I should do that. And that's what I did. Crash Out Energy. That's why I designed it. That's why I drink it every day. That's why it's the official energy drink of the Owen Report. Secure yours today at crashout.energy.
Back to the show with your favorite talk show host, Tits McGee.
Hey, they got the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They're going to try that again. They're only going to have one entrance this time, and Secret Service says they are taking this one very seriously. So we'll see if they can finish what they started months ago, White House Correspondents' Dinner. You know, that's kind of a weird one, isn't it? You have that shooting incident, and then it just kind of gone. And then it ended up just being used to promote the ballroom, which is not going so well with that deal. All right. Can I actually get to the news? I'm going to have to get some of this stuff off the desk, all the Trump worship. I'm going to have to get rid of the Trump worship. Oh, my gosh. I don't know if I can do this, guys. I don't know if I can do this third hour on a Friday. I mean, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Ben Shapiro. This guy's just a monster, man. I mean, this guy is an absolute American traitor. He's not even really an American. It's just disgusting. These war merchants, these foreign loyalists, these war merchants in the media like Ben Shapiro. They're worse. They're worse than liberals. Yeah, I'll say it. Ben Shapiro is worse than a liberal.
Especially egregious.
In fact, it's not even close. And this is, you know, this is what so many on the right wing are failing to comprehend right now. And you don't have to agree, okay? Obviously, not everybody's going to agree. But you have to understand the conclusion that many people on the right or Republican voters, Trump supporters, you have to understand the conclusion that we've reached. And there's nothing you can say that's going to change our mind. It is worse to be a foreign loyalist than to be a Democrat. It is worse to be a foreign loyalist than to be a liberal, a progressive, all of this other stuff. And you know what? I'm not even sure it's close, actually. I'm not even sure it's close. So there are certain people out there that have zero tolerance for foreign loyalty. There are people out there that have zero tolerance for foreign propagandists. There are people out there that have zero tolerance for political polygamy. I happen to be one of them. And so, yes, Ben Shapiro is worse than the left-wing media.
Especially egregious and foolish right now, because you can at least understand sentimentally why Americans would object to war in a time of, say, a draft. We have a volunteer military, especially egregious and...
So send them to die. They volunteered to die for Israel. Do you understand that's what he's saying? Do you understand? And by the way, Shapiro is not the only one saying this, by the way. There are many others of Shapiro's ilk. There are many others that wear the same hat that have said the exact same thing. Oh, it's okay to send them to die for foreign interest. Hey, it's okay to send U.S. men and women to die for the donor class. They volunteered for that. Oh, well, let's see. This is the new neocon warmonger version of safe and effective. Hey, just go take the vaccine. It'll get the economy going. It's safe and effective. Don't worry. This is good for the country. Just take the vaccine. So, oh, it's safe and effective. So you go take the vaccine, you end up, and your heart explodes. You lied. You don't get to say, hey, you volunteered to take that vaccine. No. You lied and you said it was safe and effective. And actually, literally, Ben Shapiro is one of them. He's literally a vaccine pusher. So he's a vaccine pusher. He's a warmonger. He's the worst. He's worse than leftist media. Ben Shapiro is worse than the leftist media. He was anti-Trump until Trump started serving his interests of foreign interest, of Israel's interest. Now he's pro-Trump. Same guy that pushed vaccines. So the logic and the reason why they talk about the draft is because Israel's not joining the war. The reason why they say, oh, it's voluntary service because in Israel service is mandatory. So we can't go fight. We force our citizens into the military. So you can't ask us to fight. So we're not going to fight. We have to ask the men and women that volunteer to fight to go fight. They volunteered to fight for America. They didn't volunteer to fight for the donor class like Marian Adelson. So it's safe and effective 2.0. It's safe and effective warmonger neocon version. I shouldn't have done it. I guys. Let me be positive for a second. We are going to take our country back. And the foreign propagandists, the foreign agents, the foreign loyalists, all of them that have been deceiving us and undermining us and stealing from us and lying to us and sending us to die for their agents and their interests, we are going to win. We're going to win. We won't have to deal with these people much longer. Okay? And Ben Shapiro is already less popular than he's ever been. Mark Levin is already less popular than he's ever been. Now you've got Laura Loomer. She's going down the same path. We're not going to have to deal with these people forever. You understand? In fact, the reason why many of them are even in the media at all is only because our government is run by foreign interests. They're only in the media because they work for the same occupying forces that occupy our media and occupy our Congress. Once we end this occupation, they'll all be gone. Their job won't exist anymore. Their entire purpose is to keep you, the American people, a slave to the foreign interests and fighting and dying in their wars. This game is over. I don't know what it's going to look like while we get rid of this. I don't know what this is. I don't know how this process is going to all play out exactly. I think we're going to get our first hint of it with this midterm election, and then we'll really see how serious this is after that. But it's over. It's over. Okay? The gig is up, guys. We all know what you've done. We all know what you've done. We all know who you work for. And we all know how you really feel about us. The gig is up. Okay? The gig is up. And I guess really we're going to find out how committed they are to the gig. That's what we're going to find out. We're going to find out how committed are they to the gig. I think Trump is your last agent. I don't think you have another agent in the White House. You're going to try, no doubt. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then really the only question is, at that point, does America have any agency at all left? Does America have any sovereignty at all left? Does America have any independence at all left? Or are we completely and totally conquered? That's really the only question left. Because if we do have any agency, if we do have any independence, if we do have any sovereignty, we all know this game is over. We all know the whole Israel game is over. We all know the Israeli occupation and everything. It's over. It's done, guys. It's over. It's not popular. It's totally exposed. And now we see, wow, our entire involvement in the Middle East, trillions of dollars, tens of thousands of dead Americans. Wow, that was all the Israeli lobby. They tricked us. They deceived us. American blood and treasure in the Middle East, all for Israel. And the total occupation of our media, the total occupation of our government, the total subversion of our interests, it's all exposed. It's over. And the entire generation of Americans that you had under this brainwashing propaganda, they're not there anymore. And I don't mean to be morbid, but they're dying off. And we, the younger generations, we're not falling for it. We see you. It's not working on us. So I do believe that. I do. I don't think we're going to have to deal with this foreign occupation much longer, guys, honestly. And they know it, too. And that's why they're trying to get us, that's why they're trying to send as many men and women over into the Middle East to fight and die for Israel's interests as they can right now. That's why they're doing it. That's why it's pedaled to the metal right now with this foreign policy, because they know this is it. This is their last stand. This is their last draw. It's over after this. It's over after Trump. And it might be over after the midterms. But that's it. It's done, guys. It's over. It's done. And maybe even out of respect for the game, you give them a little credit. You say, wow, you did it. You guys really did it. You really conquered and occupied and ran the most powerful country in the world for about 5 decades. I mean, you really did it. It's impressive, the work that you did, the commitment, the will. It's pretty impressive. But we're hip to it now. We don't like it. It's over. It's over. And the more blood and treasure that gets spilled in the Middle East in this Iran war, the worse it's going to be. The worse it's going to be. So it's really just a matter of time. And then it's just a matter of, what are we going to have left? What are we going to have left while the foreign lobby loots our country? That's really the only question. Hopefully a country at all. Let's see here. Marian Adelson. She's eulogizing Lindsey Graham.
We were very close friends of Lindsey.
This is the woman who has conquered your country, just in case you were curious.
Sheldon, we met him in 1990, approximately. There was a mission of AIPAC.
So here she is laying out how they met Lindsey Graham and how AIPAC conquered Congress, and Lindsey Graham was one of their agents. I mean, it's really an amazing thing. At least they're honest. I'll give her credit. She's honest.
And we took freshman congressmen, Republican, to Israel. So we and Sheldon and me and another 2 partners of Sheldon paid for the trip, donated it to AIPAC educational group, something like that. And then we met Lindsey.
Yeah, this woman can't even speak English. So, you know what, too? You have to understand the psychology. Like, that they don't even think they did anything wrong, guys. They don't even believe that they've done anything wrong. And I get it, because they're not really Americans. They don't care about America. They're not heritage Americans. They don't love America. They're not loyal to America. They're Israelis. They're Israelis. They're loyal to Israel and Israel's interests. And so they don't really care about America. And so, yeah, they've done no wrong. And by the way, this is the same George Soros Nazi mentality. This is the exact same psychology that's being exhibited here. Whether it's Marian Adelson or whether it's George Soros. You understand? Why does Marian Adelson feel guiltless that she has used her gambling, her husband's casino money to buy U.S. Congress, to buy the president of the United States, and to totally subvert our own country's interests for Israel's interests? She doesn't feel bad about this. She's proud about this. You know why? Because the psychology is just like George Soros. Hey, somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else is going to move into the corrupt American politics and buy all your political whores. Somebody else is going to move into the American politics and buy all the sellouts and liars in the media. Might as well be me for Israel's interests. I'm doing good for my people. I'm doing good for my country. That's why she doesn't have any guilt about it, because these aren't Americans. And they justify all of this in their own head. Hey, so Americans are going and fighting and dying in the Middle East for Israel. So what? So what? They volunteered to do it. So what? You're spending trillions of dollars for Israel's interest in the Middle East. So what? We bought your government. We own you. You do something about it. You don't like it? Do something about it. This is how they think. This is how they justify all of it. This is why they don't feel bad about any of it. It's all psychology. And it's almost really, maybe this is a reach, but it's kind of like when they think they're tricking God and they're like, oh, I can't use electronics on Saturday, so I have like a rope. I have like a hemp rope attached to a silver hook that I pull, and then that pulls this other chain down here, so I'm not actually touching it, and then the refrigerator opens and it moves over here and cooks, but I don't actually cook or touch any electricity. See, I'm tricking God. It's like, see, it's okay. It's the same psychology. It's the same justifying evil because, oh, I'm not actually committing the evil, or, oh, somebody's volunteering to commit the evil for me. This is normal. This is natural. And there's nothing American about that mindset, by the way. That's total foreign mindset. That's total Middle East mindset. You guys want to see Laura Loomer in Ukraine? I can't even do it. I can't even. Laura Loomer, what a sellout, man. Unbelievable. What a total sellout. I can't do it. I can't do the Loomer bit, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do the Loomer bit. That is a psychotic woman, belongs in a mental institution. Ukraine hits more warehouses of Russia's top online retailer. So this is like the Amazon. This would be like if somebody was hitting Amazon headquarters. It's called Wildberries. It's basically the Amazon equivalent in Russia. So Ukraine is bombing a bunch of their warehouses, a bunch of their facilities. And Trump says, oh, it wasn't me, Vladimir. It wasn't me. Stop helping Iran. Vladimir's like, stop helping Ukraine. Trump says, I'm not helping Ukraine. Wow. So, okay, you're just a total liar. The good way to conduct foreign policy, just tell ridiculous lies to other foreign leaders that know you're lying. What an embarrassment. What an ass. Ukraine forces intensify attacks on gas stations in Russia's Belgorod and Kursk regions. Folks, they're committing war crimes. So there's a major gas shortage in Russia. You know, they're bombing all of these different refineries and everything. I mean, they're doing it. Ukraine is actually starting to hit Russia and hurt Russia. And so people are going to the gas station to try to fill up their tank because there's oil shortages, and Ukraine is going to these gas stations as they're lined up 20, 30, 40 deep, and they're drone bombing Russian civilians trying to get gas. And then President Trump is such an ass. He calls Putin and he says, I'm not the one doing that. And everybody knows it's Trump. Everybody knows it's Trump's foreign policy. Everybody knows Trump lied when he said he'd win this war day one. Yeah, we are supplying the drones. We are supplying the tech. We are supplying the training, and we are funding the whole thing. And everybody knows it. And Trump has the nerve to call Putin and say, hey, we're not doing that. Hey, we're not involved in the Ukraine war. That's NATO. Can you stop helping Iran? And Putin, can you imagine the gaslighting? Can you imagine Putin? He's like, what the hell? Like, he hangs up the phone call after Trump says, I'm not involved with Ukraine. We're not helping Ukraine. Stop helping Iran. We have nothing to do with Ukraine. We're not doing that. And they hang up the phone. Can you imagine? Putin's like, what the hell was that? Trump just said they're not helping Ukraine. And then there's like this weird moment of silence. He's looking around the room, and it's like everybody just bursts out into laughter. I mean, this is a clown. This is a total clown. Like, who does Trump think he's fooling, guys? Maybe that's the question. Is Trump surrounded by such yes men? Is Trump surrounded by no? I don't even think you can call them men. Is there nobody around Trump that is like trying to help him at all? It's like, hey, Mr. President, Putin knows you're helping Ukraine, kind of like everybody else on planet Earth knows you're helping Ukraine. Maybe you shouldn't have said that on the phone. No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know any better. I'm going to tell Putin we're not helping Ukraine. He has no idea. Dude, they probably just killed Lindsey Graham. What a joke. You're Biden level jokester on this. Now, Israeli settlers attack West Bank's Nablus. Shooting leaves 6 dead. So a skirmish. By the way, Trump promised last year, he promised when they cut the original deal that the West Bank was off limits. Trump promised that Israel couldn't touch the West Bank. Well, Israel's taken the West Bank and Trump has said nothing. So now some Israelis go in there. They try to commit a bunch of murders and take a bunch of land. It ends up not going well for them. A couple of Israelis actually died in the skirmish. There's 4 Palestinians, 2 Israelis, and then the Israelis fled. So now this is Israel's excuse to go in there. They're just going to bomb the whole thing now is what they're going to do. Just going to kill them all. Israel planning extensive military operation in West Bank after settler attack. Yeah, so the Israelis go in and attack the Palestinians. They lose, and then the Israeli military is going to say, okay, fine, we'll bomb them for you. Oh, I'm so sick of it, guys. I'm so sick of it, guys. Man screaming Allahu Akbar stabs UWS Jewish man and second victim in back-to-back attacks. Oh, Lord help us, guys. Lord help us. We are in the Middle East now. The United States is now the Middle East. Great. Did you guys know that Benjamin Netanyahu's personal security guard got caught in a sting operation by Chris Hansen? This is a wild one.
We're involved in security for the Israeli president, Netanyahu. Did you meet the Israeli leader?
I'm sorry, I'm not answering any questions so I can speak to an attorney.
You sent photos of your penis erect? You told the boy you ruined your shorts, meaning you ejaculated while you were talking to him. You asked for explicit pictures of him. You say the age of consent in Maryland is 16. This boy is 15. You knew this was illegal. And you had multiple chances to not commit this crime, but you did anyway. Which makes me wonder how many times you've gotten away with it before. Do you have CSAM on your phone?
I'm sorry, I'm not answering any questions until I can speak to an attorney.
You talk about being busy in training. The boy says his parents will be out of town at a work conference. How long was your drive over here today from your home in Maryland?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not answering any questions until I speak to an attorney.
You talked about taking him out after getting to know him for cheesesteaks. And if it goes well, you say you'll meet the monster at the end of the happy trail. Just tell me what you meant by that.
I'm sorry, I'm not answering any questions so I can speak to an attorney.
You feel pretty good about yourself today, huh? Think you were outsmarting everyone? A month and a day you spent chatting with someone who told you they're 15. Not just a cop, but a lieutenant. You sent pictures of yourself in uniform. You sent pictures of yourself from your office at the Metro DC Police Department, lounging on your couch, grooming a child.
Did you catch that, by the way? Former Netanyahu security guard working in the DC police, trying to recruit a child for his happy trail. It's a pretty strange coincidence, isn't it?
What should happen to you, Lieutenant?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not answering any questions so I can speak to an attorney.
I guess you won't.
Of course, he has the right of return like all other Israeli pedophiles. So that's where they all end up, back home in Israel. And maybe they're allowed to do that there. I don't know. I'm not planning on going anytime soon. I'm not going to take the trip like so many others do. You know, it's actually sad though. It's actually sad and I don't blame them. Everybody's got bills to pay. Everybody's got decisions to make. I don't blame the people that take the offers. I don't blame the people that take the trips. I don't blame the people that take the payments. I really don't. I mean, everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. I just turn them all down. You know, I just turn them all down. And the reason why it's sad is, you know, these governments don't represent really the people anywhere. You know, Israelis protest Netanyahu all the time. Not every Israeli likes Netanyahu. Just like not every American likes Trump, just like many Americans don't like the direction of our government, our politics, our foreign policy. So I'm sure anybody could go have fun in Israel. It's just people, you know, it's just people. Just like probably anybody could go have fun in Iran. It's just people. You can go have fun in China. You can go have fun in Ukraine. You go have fun in Russia. I'd love to go visit the world. I'd love to go travel the world. And I just so happen to have an opportunity where people want to, you know, pay me to go fly out to their country and just show it to my audience. And I just say, no, I'm not going to do it. But it sucks because what sucks about it is if I go and take the trip, even just independently, even if I say, hey, you know what, I appreciate your offer and I appreciate you saying I can interview this person or get a sit down interview, whatever. I appreciate that. I still want to visit your country. I'm going to do it on my own dime. I'm going to do it my own way, but I appreciate you. Thank you. It would still, the look is still not bad. It's still a bad look. And then it's like, well, let's say I did want to go. Let's say I did want to go. And then it's like, well, now I can't even film anything because people are just going to assume the worst. But you know what? I'm actually okay with that. Because that's how it should be with how corrupt our system is. And that's why I don't even take the risk. Because there's so few people you can trust out there. So I don't even take the risk. So if people want to go out there and they want to show you that they're willing to sell out to anybody, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. Not me. Not now. All right. Now, 150,000 mail-in ballots rejected in California's primary, despite efforts to count every vote. Boy, that's interesting. How rigged was that deal? Nearly 150,000 California voters had their mail-in ballots rejected for state's June primary. A spike from recent elections, even as the state attempts to make voting easier with the goal of boosting participation and counting every ballot. So what's wrong with these ballots? I wonder if they were all for Spencer Pratt. Is that why they didn't count 150,000? Because they were for Spencer Pratt? How does that deal go? You know, I've got friends in Madison that think this is about to get bad. And then I've got some other journalists that go undercover with these leftist groups that are protesting. They're also protesting in Portland, but they always protest in Portland. There was a DHS standoff with some protesters in Portland this week. Man shot and killed by police in Madison, Wisconsin, sparking protests. I've got some friends there. I've got some journalists embedded in some of these groups. They think this thing is about to get big. I didn't really buy it. You know, this thing kicked off earlier this week on Wednesday, and I didn't really cover it because I thought it would kind of just go away. So, but people think this could get big, so I figured I might as well bring it to the show today. There were some interesting moments. There were some interesting moments in Madison with some of these protests where they get to these events and they take over the whole event. They take over the microphone, and the local government just stands down. They don't really operate under any banner, but it's Antifa types, it's Black Lives Matter types. And they are getting really aggressive. Now, here's what's wild about this story. And I'm sure more of it's going to come out. So you had a confrontation between police and an individual. The individual stabs the police officer, and the police officer shoots him, and now he's dead. So who out there can guess where I'm going with this? Who knows the mind of Owen Schroyer well enough to know where I'm going with this? Let's see if has anybody cracked the code. Let's see if anybody's cracked the code. What am I going to do next with this story? Where am I going to take this story next? So you have these leftist groups that are protesting because a cop shot a guy who stabbed him. I'm trying to give you hints here, guys. Leftists, Black Lives Matter, are upset that a guy died after he stabbed somebody. Are you with me yet? We just saw the exact same political body of leftists and Antifa and Black Lives Matter say that a shove justified killing somebody. They all argued it. We all saw it after the Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony case. They said, hey, you shoved somebody, he kills you. That's okay. But apparently, if you stab somebody, deadly force is not allowed. Ah, I see. There's no logical consistency. Now, of course, they'll tell you, well, one of them is a police officer. Well, he's still a human being. Does a police officer not have survival instincts? Does a police officer not have a right to self-defense? Hey, I agree. We expect our police to be well-trained and professionals and avoid deadly confrontations if possible. But how are you going to defend? How are you going to take the defense of one guy who kills somebody for getting shoved, but then you're going to take the defense of the guy who stabs somebody and then gets killed? This country's a joke. Liberals are still a joke, unfortunately. They're good on foreign policy, but other than that, yikes. Zoran Mamdani says if you have a second home in New York City worth more than $5 million, check your mailbox when you get back because you've got mail. We've sent notification letters to property owners letting them know our new pied-à-terre tax is coming soon. The best city in the world deserves the best parks, libraries, and schools in the world. That's only possible when we pay all our fair share. Oh, my gosh. They're really going to collapse New York City, aren't they? They're really going to do it. They're really going to collapse the city. All the rich are going to leave. There'll be nobody paying taxes. Nobody will be able to afford anything. How is this one going to go? You only have to wonder if this is being done intentionally or not. This is going to be a disaster. Well, good luck, New York City. Hey, I give him credit. He's trying new things, but they're really not new. And we already know how it's going to go. Let's see what else. I got AOC blasting the fact nobody's answering Congress, by the way. Nobody's answering what's going on with Mitch McConnell. AOC did an interview about how nobody's answering any questions, but we'll just move on for the sake of time. So still nothing on Mitch McConnell. 1.6 million eggs recalled at Kroger and other stores over salmonella risk. So, guys, do they have the dates in here? I would check this out if you shop at Kroger. There was another big one in here. We don't have these in Texas, at least not where I live. The recall covers white shell and cage-free shell eggs produced at the company's Texas farms and distributed to retailers in 6 states. Arkansas, Brookshire grocery stores, Louisiana, Kroger and Brookshire grocery stores, Mississippi, Brookshire, New Mexico, Brookshire, Oklahoma, Brookshire, Texas, Kroger, Brookshire. So if you've bought eggs recently from there, you might want to look into this. Make sure you're not eating them. 1.6 million have been recalled. Chicago is losing grocery stores, guys. It continues in these Democrat-run cities. 7 Save-A-Lot grocery stores on south and west sides to abruptly close this weekend. The theft, the crime, it is causing these people to leave. And here's how the locals are responding.
I know the struggle. I was there. I saw it. So it's like, man, another blow to the community, and ain't nothing we could do about it.
Yeah, we have nothing. So I don't know what we're going to do. There's nothing around here. No stores. This is basically the only store you can come to. That you get fresh produce and, get groceries for little or nothing.
Well, you might want to stop electing Democrats. That's no endorsement of Republicans, obviously. But you know what? Locally, Republicans do a lot better job. Locally, Republicans are much better. Foreign policy, they suck. They sell us out. Congress, they suck. They sell us out. But you know what? You guys have been voting Democrats 50 years and your city's gone to hell. Might want to reconsider that. Just a thought. Rand Paul is going to be questioning Anthony Fauci under oath next week, July 29th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Anthony Fauci has dodged, deflected, and hidden behind a pardon. Fauci will finally testify before my committee. Mark your calendars next week, 8:30 a.m. So for what? A bunch more nothing? It's probably my guess. It's a bunch more nothing. We'll see. Fauci will be protected by Trump at the end of the day. Watch. Shiloh Hendricks' attorney vows to appeal guilty verdict after Minnesota mom convicted over calling a man N-word as he filmed, taunted her at the playground. This is one of the craziest things you've ever seen. So saying the N-word is now a crime. And the only reason this even got to court is because the NAACP saw the video weeks after it happened and decided to fund a lawsuit. This is one of the craziest things. So saying the N-word is now a crime. And of course, we know what happens now. And by the way, her lawyer did a great job. I'm not going to play the whole video here. Her lawyer, Brian Corrales, afterwards, they did 4 days. They were in court for 4 days. They didn't let out till 10:30 last night. This is a misdemeanor trial. There's never been anything like it for a dirty word. He's going to appeal. So this is what's so crazy. So first of all, the whole thing is unprecedented. A dirty word, you get convicted for a bad word. That is unbelievable. But now you know what's going to happen. And by the way, this is the same thing with the Allahu Akbar story from earlier. Who knows? But I have a feeling you're going to start seeing crimes that are going to say, oh, he shouted Allahu Akbar. And it's just like they just make it up. Because we see the same thing with the N-word. It's like, oh, I can commit a crime against a white person. They said the N-word. Doesn't matter. They never said it. That's so now, oh, saying the N-word is a crime. So now you can justify violence. Oh. And by the way, that's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, you know, she's lucky that there could have been violence. Well, okay, if somebody says something you don't like and you make the decision to engage in an act of violence, that doesn't make you're still going to face the law if you commit a crime. This is one of the craziest things, honestly. This is just one of the craziest things. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? And why isn't the IRS abolished yet? You may have seen this video. It's going viral. This guy's just getting screwed over by the IRS. What's new? Why isn't the IRS abolished yet? Massachusetts revokes doctors' right to renew medical license because she was a January 6th defendant. And so, yeah. The continued torture and torment of January 6th defendants can't get a job. Okay. All right. Boy, oh boy. Did you guys see the text messages that Candace Owens released? So Candace Owens releases a series of texts between her and Candace Owens. Now, I wonder how long she was holding on to this. We've seen other exchanges, whether that be text or something else, from Charlie talking about the Israeli lobby or pressure that he gets from Jewish donors. This has to be the most damning, because really, this is, if you said this, if Charlie posted this stuff on a social media account, he would obviously be called an anti-Semite. And if there were any donors that fund his lifestyle, they would be pulling those funds. So maybe they knew that. Maybe that's why they were pulling the funds, because they were able to read the text with some sort of a spyware. These texts are pretty wild, guys. I don't even know if you can read them. You might get banned for even reading them.
Did not apologize for saying genocide is always wrong. Charlie said, good. He continues. I've told all the Jews recently to go to hell who try and tell me to stop. I said, it's unreal. It's an implicit threat. He said, BTW did the flight workout, okay? I was 40 weeks pregnant and he was helping me to find a plane last second. And I said, by the way, you are featured in my Tucker interview that just dropped. I defended you hardcore. I forgot to mention that he just dropped it. And he said, thank you. We are on the same team. Screw these people. And I said around the 20-minute mark. And he said, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Very few of us are willing to stand up to the cabal right now. I said, thank you so much for having my back. You know, I have yours. I'm really so disgusted by what they did to you. Years of service to the pro-Israel cause, and no one cares, treating you like you are only as good as what you can do to them. The plane worked out great today. Thank you so much. It made all the difference. This pregnant, LOL, I'm literally 40 weeks. And he wrote, Absolutely. We are on the same team. People are waking up and it is finally happening. He continued, it is so transactional. I am repulsed by it. For years, I was called a Jewish shill. And now they say I am a Hamas agent. Screw them. The game has changed. So that's a snippet into what began.
Now, let me just say a couple things in response from just following this, studying this, and somebody who knows how to track this stuff and trend this stuff in media. Candace has more. She has more. I don't know what that more is, but I'm saying I'm betting 100%. This is me betting my reputation right now. She has more. Guarantee she has more. Again, is it more about the issue of a foreign lobby? Is it more about their friendship? Is it more about Ben Shapiro? Does it have something to do with the shooting? Candace has more. I'll promise you that. Candace Owens has more. Now, there's two dynamics playing out right now as far as the drama surrounding Candace's investigation into the Kirk assassination and then Candace's friendship with Charlie. These are two kind of separate developing drama stories right now. As far as the Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens friendship is concerned, Candace has won that, and it's really not even close. I guess this is mostly coming from what remains at Turning Point USA as far as the leadership. You know, the people that go host the Charlie Kirk show every day. That in and of itself is kind of dark and twisted, but I guess we'll allow it a pass. So the same people that have been hosting the Charlie Kirk show now almost a year after he's dead are the same people that have been trying to convince you that Charlie and Candace had no friendship, that they had a falling out. And so there was this ongoing back and forth between the people that host the Charlie Kirk show and Candace Owens about the nature of her and Charlie's relationship. Candace has won that decisively. That is a unanimous decision. You're even borderline getting close to a knockout at this point. So the factors at TPUSA that were trying to convince you that Candace and Charlie did not have a good relationship or they had some sort of a falling out personally, Candace has won that. Now, we'll see if they give it up. They haven't really responded much to this recent text exchange that she just released. I think for obvious reasons. They don't want more people looking at it, and they know the more they talk about Candace, the more people will look at it. But as far as the receipts with Charlie and Candace relationship, she's won that battle. It's over. The people inside TPUSA that tried to convince you that they had a falling out or no friendship, they got caught. They lied or they didn't know any better. So they took a major L there. Now, as far as the other side of this drama, which is the assassination thing, that's been a little more crazier. There's a lot more working parts and elements. I don't really know if you can say anybody has an edge. That's more of an opinion of whether you believe the official narrative or not. And there's no doubt that nobody's been perfect in that regard with that back and forth between Candace and TPUSA. But whoa. Candace has released a lot of texts. That's got to be the most hard-hitting one yet. I mean, that is in line with the one that got released in the immediate aftermath where he deliberately addresses the Israel lobby bullying him, like he said in many interviews. This thing is dark, man. This thing is dark. This Charlie Kirk assassination is dark. And all the different elements and moving parts, all the different individuals covering it and the different angles and the different propaganda and the different lies. I mean, this thing is, it's like more dark every day, guys. It gets more dark every day. So I wonder what's going to happen between now and the court date. And by the way, what is this? So Diligent Denizen has been doing a lot of his own investigation, let's say. He got George Zinn on a phone call from jail. Listen to this.
can I ask you about the day that you went to the Charlie Kirk thing, or no, at all?
Well, it was September, I believe September 10th.
Yes, sir.
Of last year, down at the UVU.
Yes, sir. Is it okay if I ask?
Go ahead.
Is it okay if I ask you about that?
Yeah, sure, because that's where I was. I had deployed for him in Phoenix. His headquarters is in Phoenix, and we went out and knocked on doors.
Now, I don't want to play this whole thing. I'm just going to stop it right there. If you want to go listen to the whole thing, you can. Obviously, the whole George Zinn story is weird from the immediate, right after the shot was taken on Charlie, and now even to this day as he's in prison for child pornography allegations. That's how insane this deal is. Now he's telling reporters he worked for TPUSA. What in the hell is going on? Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't trust George Zinn. I'm not sure why anybody would trust George Zinn. Him saying he worked for TPUSA is, I don't even know how to respond to that. And I'm curious if TPUSA is going to respond to that. Now, if he did work for TPUSA, obviously this raises a bunch of other questions. But if he didn't work for TPUSA, then I would suggest that TPUSA address this immediately. And the PR after Charlie's assassination from Turning Point USA has been a disaster, to say the least. And I would suggest, even though it's like every time they swing, they miss, this is one to me you got to respond to. If George Zinn never worked there, then you guys need to address that immediately. And now maybe people can start to understand, okay, what is the George Zinn involvement? Why is he running cover after the shot is taken? And why is he now running cover from prison, throwing up false signals that he worked for TPUSA? Or maybe it did happen. That's a pretty wild one, guys. That is a pretty wild one. All right. Let's go to our super chats. That's going to do it for the content. Let's go to our super chats as we close out a busy broadcast week. Thanks to everybody for the super chats. Remember, guys, give us a follow on YouTube. It's the only outlet I'm allowed to grow on. Not allowed to grow on X. Did you guys see it again, though? It's every week. It's every week now. Owen Schroyer 76 gets to 474,000 on X and then immediately loses 1,000 followers. It's happened every week for how long now, DMT? It's about 12 months now, I think. I don't know what that is, but you know that's a rigged game. There's only one thing that beats the algorithm, guys. There's only been one thing that beats the algorithm. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So give us a follow on YouTube if you haven't, guys. Captain Art, pro-life, but also let's blow up kids in the Middle East. Yeah, that's the obvious double standard you get from these fake conservatives. Jeter's gift basket. What version of Brad Pitt is next? Fight Club? Well, I'd have to cut the hair for that. We got some other tricks up our sleeves. I hope you're enjoying the show. Got some other tricks up our sleeves. Laundry sucks. It's true. Need those Trump farts in jars if money is needed, or Trump bathwater. Oh, I forgot. I need to fund the show, guys. I need to fund the show with Trump farts in a jar. I'm telling you, I'd be a millionaire. Be a damn millionaire. These people would buy Trump farts in a jar. Should we do it? Should we put Trump farts in a jar? You're going to need some inside help with that one. Need to get an insider. Dustvault, you won't do man on the street interviews with the MAGA cult wearing a clown suit and MAGA hat. You won't. That's probably true. I know what you're doing. I like it, actually. I do like that. You get me. Who is amazed? It is impressive. Kicked out of 109 countries, forced to live in Spain with Muslims. Founding fathers ignored their people in history and Christendom. In the EU now, 2026, here we are. They run our government. I think it's a little deeper than that. Some people think it's still the House of London running everything. There's some interesting angles to that, too. It's all connected. And this is the big Q plan to get rid of all of them, of course. That's what we're in the middle of right now. It's our only hope, actually. Trump just let one of his biggest supporters from the UK be extradited. I'm beginning to think both sides want us in prison. Time to get right with Jesus. That's right. Hey, I'm trying to warn these MAGA people that, they're all scared. Oh, you're going back to jail. Hey, man, I already did my time. And I'm well aware of the risks that I take doing politics. You guys are the ones that have never paid anything. You guys are the ones that have never suffered or sacrificed. I'm warning you, as somebody that's been there, nobody's going to have your back. So if you still want to ride or die with Trump, then, get ready. But they'll all fold. Like I warned Trump day one, they'll all fold. Starlink isn't propping up Ukraine military. I assume that's sarcasm, and that is still happening. When do we stop pretending both wars are separate? Well, Trump looks like he smells like Biden. Brother fly lineage. Eesh. I don't want to smell either one of them. We're on World War III. Wake up, NPCs. Who can glaze Trump harder than a fifth grader? It's the Trump Glaze Fest. That's actually kind of a funny bit. It's like we should do a bit and see who's the biggest Trump ball licker. Who cucks the hardest for Trump? We should all dodge the draft in honor of Trump. Imagine if Trump did a draft. How ironic would that be? It's almost perfect irony. You wonder, it's inevitable. Absolute Patriot, Mark Mitchell. Great guest today. America needs more data centers. Farms are obsolete. Gray 999. That's right. The farmers are broke. The data centers, big tech, are richer than ever. Can we eat data? Maybe that'll suffice us. Wolf Krieger, corruption trials, pardons, sales, Trump impeachment for illegal war. Mark is totally selling me on voting Dem this fall for the first time in 2 decades. Trump's abject betrayal must be punished. It's Trump. It's the Republican Party. Yeah. And Mark is one of the good ones. You know what? And I was thinking about this too. One of the biggest shames about Trump's betrayal, one of the biggest shames about Trump selling us out is, you finally had good people that were ready and willing to get involved in politics. You finally had good people. Look at a Joe Kent for an example. Trump has just destroyed that. I don't know how many good Americans, I don't know how many patriots are going to be willing to get involved anymore after what Trump has done to this country, after what Trump has done to the patriot movement. He's the one that injected that morale. He's the one that injected that will to get involved. And now he's completely destroyed it. And so now it's like, if you do want to do that, you have to go against Trump. And obviously that's not the move right now. It's too dangerous. But that's the big shame. So many great Americans, so many great patriots that looked at Trump and said, wow, I need to get involved. I need to run. Now, after this betrayal, they'll never do it, at least not for a couple election cycles. Think about how many great candidates we are losing out on now because of it. Mark Vendy, with this super chat, your Mark sandwich is slowly becoming the Piper Perry meme. Well, I get the Mark sandwich. Piper Perry meme. Is that like the Spider-Man meme? Well, I got a Mark sandwich now. Now with you, though, it's a Mark, it's like a Mark quesadilla. What's beyond a sandwich? A quesadilla? Or a calzone? This might be a Mark burrito. Huh? Thank you, Mark. Mark is based. No doubt about that. And by the way, he keeps getting better, too. Mark just keeps getting better. The veil is lifted. It's over. Oh, I know the rant that was a response to. As the world crumbles, we all need to look in the mirror tonight and find what excuse we will use tomorrow why we don't stand up and fight. We're all guilty of this cowardice. You know what? Look, I don't want to sit here and, this isn't about blaming American people. There's truth in the direction, but we don't want to sit here and blame and shame. But no, to me, it's more about looking in the mirror. It's not about self-deprecation. It's about enlightenment, and it's about improvement. That's what it's about. It's about transcending and becoming the best person you can be. And then when it's time, you're ready. You don't want to be fat. You don't want to be ugly. You don't want to be out of shape. You don't want to be, when it's time, you don't want to be unable to serve. Whatever that means. I don't even know, but I think you get it. Get the Middle East out of my country. Yeah, I'm sick of living in the Middle East. I got to tell you, it's not fun. I want to live in the West. I want to live in America again. Be great. There's no check big enough to buy out real morals or real people. And the real are separating from the fake right now. Jordan Walker, you're a good man, Owen. I inspire your principles. You guys do inspire me. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you meant, but you do inspire me. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Is that the sword of truth? You carry a big sword around here. Gunder's mom, breaking news. Experts say a recent poll shows MAGA chuds are fuming over Owen's new goated hairstyle. Yeah, you know what? They came in hot, and that's funny. That's good. We enjoyed the ride. They came in hot. They came in hot with the new look, and they're quiet now. They're quiet now. We're giving them every opportunity, We dressed up as Achilles this week for a movie review, and they didn't say anything. They didn't say anything. And you know what's funny? And there's no doubt, give me a good roast. I asked for the roast. Most of them were behind on the roast. We did the roast day one. So I'm all in for a roast. But you know what? It's funny. And there were so many damn memes when we were the #1 story on X. Maybe, did some of you see, they put me next to Brad Pitt. So they took the ugliest screenshot of me they possibly could. And they did a good job at that, no doubt. And so they took me looking haggardly and like a crazy person. And then they put me next to Brad Pitt. And there are a bunch of people that were sharing that saying, oh, nice try. Or it was like Timu Brad Pitt or like, oh, like, whatever. And it's so funny. I wish I would have saved all of that. Because I can probably do the look better than anybody. I mean, I don't know how many people can actually pull off the Brad Pitt Achilles looks. There's probably not many. Whether you think I do it well or not, whatever. But it's like, I wish I would have saved all those and responded and like actually done a full-on Brad Pitt bit, and we still can, and been like, okay, let's see you try. Because these people are all fat. They're all fat. They're all, I don't want to say ugly, because to me, anybody can be beautiful if you're healthy. Yeah, there's universal beauty and facial symmetry and stuff, but it's like, if you're healthy, you can find your beauty. Everybody can make themselves look good. But I look at the people that were making fun of my look, and I'm just like, oh my God. It's like, oh, nice try. You tried to pull off Brad Pitt. Okay, well, maybe I'm ugly, whatever. Let's see you try. Let's see your best effort. But I didn't save any of those memes. Maybe I can find them. Did you see Tucker Carlson saying Erica's great and he's accepted that we won't get real answers on Charlie's death? Never mind the clear cover-up. I did say that. I did see that, rather. Here's something that I try to talk about every once in a while when it comes to politics, and I kind of give a little bit of the background when it comes to approach with people. You just never know, guys. You just never know. You never know until you meet somebody. And there's certain things that you can know about, if they say something, if they do something. But as far as the personality, the stuff you don't know, you don't know. And I try my best to avoid assuming things about people that I don't know. And the reason is, if you do it once, you can never recover. If you get it wrong once, you can never recover. And, it's ironic because I learned this from working with Alex Jones. I learned this really directly. I mean, heavily impacted me. Watching all these people say things about Alex in total confidence that I know are not true. I would watch people say things about Alex Jones like with the utmost confidence, like they'd bet their life savings that they got this thing figured out. And I know for a fact they were wrong. So I watched this so many times, even from people that maybe you would respect. And it's like, okay, you got this one so wrong, and yet you have so much confidence. I can never trust you again. If you're saying something that I know is not true with that much confidence, I can never trust you again. So I try to avoid that as best I can. I try to avoid judging people like that or rushing to assumptions about people, stuff that I don't know. So it's like, I can come out here and say, it's strange that Erica Kirk is dancing around with pyrotechnics. It's strange that Erica Kirk is bragging about how much money they make. I can see that and comment on that. But I don't know Erica personally. I don't know what she's like behind the scenes. Some people do. They might listen to this show. I don't want to get that wrong. So it's a totally different thing to talk about Erica and to talk about the cover-up of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And if the people want to go deep into it and, ask questions and bring her into it, then they can make that decision. Tucker obviously decided not to. So I think that's a decision Tucker made for whatever reason. I think we can get it. But whatever people want to end up thinking or feeling about Erica Kirk, it's not going to change the reality that nobody's going to believe the official narrative of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Can you do another late night show tonight? Trying to find a good excuse to get out of my date. You'd rather see a shirtless Owen. You know what, Jonah? Just because of that, I'm not going to do it. You need to go on that date. You need to go on that date. Let me just say this to all the men. Let me just say this to all the men. I'm including myself in this because I kind of checked out of the whole dating thing, and I'm like, I really don't even want to get back involved. I'm just like, I just want to get married and start having kids. Like, that's it. And it's funny because I'll go out on these dates and like I tell these women, like beautiful women, I tell these women, there's like, oh, romance and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I just want to get married and have kids. Like, I don't want to hear about romance. I don't want to hear about, your white picket fence. And it's like, I don't want to care. Like, I just want to have babies. And it's weird. It turns them all off. Like, they're immediately like, oh my gosh, they start freaking out. So Jonah, go on that date tonight. Somebody's got to take these women out to dinner. All right. Somebody has to take them out to dinner. Somebody has to schmooze. Somebody has to tell them how pretty they are. Somebody has to flirt with them. So you need to take the girl out. Maybe it ends well. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you have a second date. Maybe you don't. Take her out, smile, make her laugh, take care of dinner, have a great time, and somebody's got to do it. So go on that date. So now I'm not doing it. I'm telling you to go on the date. I'm telling you to take the woman out. And also, it's good for you. It's good for you. Being around women, specifically beautiful women or well-endowed women, is good for your testosterone. It's good for your mental health. So get out there, take her out. Don't run away. I get it. I don't like going out too. I don't want to deal with it, but it has to be done. It has to be done. It's funny about that dating thing. Maybe we'll do this next week. A friend of mine, a colleague at InfoWars, he posted about what it's like in the modern dating world from a man's perspective, because we don't really talk about it. We're not like women. We don't really talk about this stuff. But he did a pretty enlightening post about it. Maybe it's worth reading on the show. It really is such a weird thing. If you're, I don't know, high value man, whatever that means. But if you're an eligible man, that women would be interested in, it is such a weird time for that man, because nothing is normal anymore. Nothing is normal as far as dating is concerned. And it's so different now than even what it was, 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's hard to explain even. It's so hard to explain. And really the conclusion, and this is why I found it relatable, the conclusion is that for many men, it becomes purely transactional. For many men, the whole dating world is so crazy and all the different dynamics and issues and things, it's just become purely transactional. But the problem with being transactional in relationships is like it's win or bust. Like there's no middle ground. It's either it works or it doesn't. So it's really crazy out there, honestly. But you're going to that date. You're going to that date. You're going to take care of that girl. You're going to be nice to her. You're going to make sure she gets home safe. You're going to smile, not say anything mean. However it goes, you're going to do it. I'm not doing a show tonight simply because of that. There's always a weird phase when growing your hair, looking good lately. Miga are just miserable from all the winning. They're so sick of winning, they're coming after me for the hair. That's funny. That's funny from Lil Gothics. How tall am I? Tall enough. Hey, actually, speaking of height, did you guys, those scenes from the Odyssey where they have the big guys in the armor fighting Odysseus's men, they actually shot, I'm telling you, the way they shot this film, I knew they weren't going to tank it. They did way too much to not have this film be a success. And it was. Don't listen to the haters. It's a good movie. They found a bunch of 7-foot men to put in those armored suits, And then they found a bunch of short women. So you had like a bunch of 5'1" bodybuilder women that were doing that scene with 7 foot and up men. And that's why it looks so good, because they didn't CGI it. They didn't CGI that. That was actually like bodybuilding short women fighting 7 foot plus tall men in the armor. They actually did that scene. Pretty cool stuff. Owen, is time for some DHT blockers. You know what? Look, whatever happens, happens. I'll do natural stuff to look good. There's natural DHT blockers, but I'm not really concerned. I'm not really concerned. And really, it looks worse on camera because the camera is like a downward angle. If it was like this, it wouldn't be as bad. But it is what it is. Can't sweat it. Can't worry about it. It makes it worse. Sky Soka, if city has not put up a flock camera yet and city council is holding a question and answer, any advice of what to ask or say to convince them not to? I don't know. I think I would take a different angle. I don't know if you could convince them not to. I don't think it's about convincing, because here's what you find out when you speak at these things. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn, and you can't convince them of anything. So what you can do is try to get answers. And if you get the right or wrong answer, that can maybe change things. So if you get up there and grill them about what the flock cameras are for, or, you know, privacy issues, or you bring up cases of abuse with the flock cameras, that can change things. If you think you can get up there and get them to change policy, that'll never happen. It never happens. I don't know if it's ever happened. But if you get up there and you catch the right moment, or you get them to do the wrong answer or something, or, you know, you present them a story to make them rethink, that's how I would handle that. But don't go in there thinking you're going to change anybody's mind with an argument. No, you have to go in there with evidence, and you have to go in there with questions, and then make the whatever follows up. That has to be organic. You're not going to convince them. They don't give a damn. These people go up there, they bring their issues to city council. They don't give a damn. Can't wait to vote in 2028. We can do it. NASA. I think is that sarcasm? Dating is fake and gay too. Kinda. Yeah, it's like it's not even fun. No, it's kind of fun. This is the one thing I don't understand. When I see this in the right wing, I can't relate to this whole anti-woman stuff. I don't relate to it at all. I don't get the woman hate. I get the jokes. I get making fun of women. You know, I'm cool with the jokes and the riffing, but I don't get the woman hatred, honestly. I'm like the opposite. I don't really get into it. I like women a lot. And I don't understand the whole right wing, like anti-woman thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like really strange, actually. And that's why I talk about, because this is the same thing. It's like these right wing men, they're like, oh, Zendaya's ugly, or Rachel Ziegler's ugly. It's like, oh, really? Like, who do you date? Please, bro. I'm not going to tell you they're the hottest women on earth, but like, stop it. If you had the opportunity to go out with any of these women that you claim are ugly in Hollywood, yeah, you'd take it 10 out of 10 times. So I don't get the anti-woman stuff. I really don't. I'm very pro-woman. I like women a lot. So I don't understand that whole right-wing anti-woman thing. Whatever, you want them out of politics. I mean, I'm the one that, you know, coined the bimbo administration. And then, hell, what happened? Bondi, gone. Noam, gone. So I'm cool with the jokes, and I'm cool with the political angle stuff, but like the cultural, like social anti-woman stuff, I don't get it. So I kind of like watching them do it, because it makes me, it's like, oh, okay, more for me. That's kind of I don't know. I don't get it though. But the whole dating thing, I don't know. Maybe we need to start talking about it more. I mean, do we have to do everything here? Nobody else seems to get any of this. Maybe we need to do it. Because all you get from people, say right wing, whatever, in this space is just anti-woman garbage, or the advice they give you for dating, the advice they give you on how to treat women and all this stuff. Like, yeah, no wonder these people are failing. No wonder these people are hating women. You're getting the worst advice ever. How dumb are you? You need to be cherishing these women. But whatever. I guess that's just me. Would you date Larry Loomer? No. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. You're sick. You are sick. I'm not reading that again. I can't. Can somebody help me here? I can't go out like that. Somebody save me. We're not going out on a Friday like that. We got to have something better. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I can't believe you just did that to us. Why would you do that on a Friday? You're sick, Naza. You are sick. Here's what I'll do. We'll slop it up. What we're going to do is we're going to slop it up. LeBron James signs a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, let me tell you how this is going to go. The 76ers will not make the finals. They will not make the finals. They'll be lucky if they even have a roster in May to compete in the NBA playoffs. And LeBron will not retire in Philadelphia. Those are my 2 predictions. A 2-year deal, by the way. LeBron and the 76ers will not be in the finals, and LeBron will not retire in Philadelphia. Those are my predictions. Take him to the bank. Oh, thank you, Bay. Thank you. Keep the shirt off, says Dre Bay. Well, you know what? Maybe there's hope for a shirtless broadcast now. Not tonight because our other friend has a date. We got to let him have the date. But maybe some other time for you, Dre. For Dre Bay here, who saved the show. You saved the show. Thank you so much for saving the show. We couldn't go out on that other one. That would have been too much. All right, that's it. Go have fun. Go have fun this weekend. Have fun. God bless. Godspeed. We'll see you Monday.
I said I